Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We will open this meeting of the Illinois Board Review for today, August 15th, 2023. Before we get started, I just want to share a few preliminary matters with you. Everyone has been muted, principally because there's lots of background noise, and etc. So it's distracting to try to if everyone's allowed to have their communications open at this time. Also, we will announce a whole series of cases that have been resolved, either because they're now moot or moot complied. If your address is called, if you're a homeowner or an appellant, and the address is called and it's identified as moot or moot complied, and you don't understand those terms, please call the office. The phone number for the office for the administrator is on the communication that you receive from us. The administrator can spend the time required to explain the difference if you don't understand. So please don't jump in and say, what does that mean? Because it's disruptive. We have a very long list of cases today. We'd like to get through them. We want everyone to be heard. Okay, what we will do is start by having the board and the other panelists introduce themselves, after which I will hear from the law department. The law department will have a spokesperson give us a list of cases that have been resolved, or if there are requests for continuances, etc. Again, I'm Kenneth Woodson, board chair.
Pincus, board member.
Roger S. Tennessee, board member.
Beverly Penn, board member.
Ken Washington, board member.
Des Patton, board member.
Ryan McSherry, board counsel.
Richard Wade, board administrator.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll hear from now the law department.
Good afternoon, board members. This is Michael Rullo, R-U-L-L-O, on behalf of the city of Philadelphia. I will be handling the list for today.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. Please start.
Yes, I will start with, I'll address them together, numbers 2, 3, and 4, which are ending respectively in 3724, 4093, and 4094, each of which concerns 926 Durd Street and GT Investment Groups LLC, which are represented by Mr. Denenberg. All three of those can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you very much.
Moving on to number 5, appeal ending 3665 914 New Market Street. The appellant is a Donald Sabatini. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Moving to number 7, appeal ending 3592, 8575 Torresdale Avenue. The appellant is a Joe Smith. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Moving to number 8, appeal ending 3677 935 South 3rd Street. The appellant is a Joseph Smith. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Moving to number 9, appeal ending 3685 3032 Agati Street, a 2255 East Clearfield Street LLC. That matter can be marked moot.
Thank you.
Moving to number, moving to number 11, appeal ending 3983 7518 Ogons Avenue. Appellant is a Daryl Davis. That can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Moving to number 13, appeal ending 3849 3180 Grant Avenue, a Muhammad Guba. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Moving to number 14, appeal ending 3701 737 Walnut Street, Sarah Investment LLC. That matter can be marked moot.
Thank you.
Moving to number 17, appeal ending 3909 1151 Winton Street. Yes, Andrea Bocelli. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Moving to number 18, appeal ending 3807 1701 Belfield Avenue. Appellant is a Kareem Charles. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Move compliant. Thank you.
Moving to number 19, appeal ending 3676, 3518 West Crown Avenue. The appellant is a Richard Gallagher. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Move compliant. Thank you.
Moving to number 20, appeal ending 3678, 5566 Matthew Street, a Sylvia Caba. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Compliant. Thank you.
Moving to number 24, appeal ending 3654, 5002 North Penn Street. And I'm going to actually do, excuse me, let me back up for 1 second. I'm going to do numbers 24 and 25 together. The first is ending in 3654 and the second is ending in 3655. Both concern 5002 North Penn Street with the appellant ETA Entourage Holdings LLC. Both of those can be marked moot complied.
Mr. Rulo, number 25 though is the address is 5000 North Penn Street.
Thank you very much for that correction. I missed the two. Okay.
Is that a mistake or is it the same location?
I do not, I'm actually do not know the answer to that question. I would default to the assigned attorney. I'm unsure if that is if they're neighboring properties or if that is an error.
Okay, well, let's do this then. Let's continue on and we'll come back to that. Whoever's assigned to this one can speak up when we come back.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep. Give me 1 second. Moving to number 27, appeal ending 3674. 6029 Washington Avenue. The appellant is a Virginia Coleman. That matter can be marked moot complied. Yep, just wanted to make sure you were good to go.
yep, ready.
Moving to number 29, appeal ending 4017, 6841 Linford Street. The appellant is a Yuxel Properties LLC. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Thank you.
Moving to number 30, appeal ending 3700, 65 West Queen Lane. The appellant is a George McLean. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Thank you.
Moving to number 35, appeal ending 4024, 2735 North 46th Street. The appellant is a Brandeis Brockman. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Thank you.
Moving to number 38, appeal ending 3774, 2836 South Simpson Street. The appellant is a Masanja Bamba. That matter can be marked moot.
Thank you.
And I believe that does it. I believe Miss Curley is handling numbers 24 and 25, where we were just trying to get clarification
Sure.
if
Okay,
that was an address error or if they were both the same property.
okay, Ms. Curley?
Oh, I have no idea. I can
Yeah,
look into it.
It's 5,000 and 5,002.
Okay,
It's
so
two
the
different
issue then
properties.
is what's the status of 5000 then?
Both of these matters are moot complied.
Move compliant. Okay.
Perfect.
Move compliant for number 24 and number 25, 5002 North Penn Street and 5000 North Penn Street. Okay,
Mr.
Thank you
Chair, I
very
have a question.
yes, sir.
On 2, 3, and 4 on my sheet, we have withdrawn. And I think it was just announced that that's mute compliant. I just wanted to be sure that it is mute compliant.
That was the status that was given to us by Mr. Rulo. Is that the official designation, sir?
It was my understanding that those three were being marked moot complied. The assigned attorney there is Mr. Johnson. If that's incorrect, I'd default to him, but that's my understanding is they were to be marked moot complied.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, if that's something different, you can please put that on the record. If not,
Board
Uh,
Administrator,
Which case is this? Are you asking
Uh,
about?
as cases 2, 3, and 4, 926 Gerard Street.
Yeah, those
ET
are all
investment.
to be
Board's
marked.
adminis- Board's administration received a withdrawal email for all three matters. So that's why it's marked like that on the sheet.
Oh, he sent you an email to withdraw?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So what should
So,
it be?
If they're withdrawn, they're withdrawn.
Okay. So
I mean,
we'll
the
notify-
violations are complied, but if he withdrew the appeals, they should be marked withdrawn.
Okay, So let's do this then, in order so the record is clear. Mr. Rulo, restate those 3 locations and list them as withdrawn, okay?
Understood. So I'm directing the board's attention back to numbers 2, 3, and 4, which end in 3724, 4093, and 4094, each of which concerns 926 Durd Street, and the appellant is GT Investment Groups LLC for all 3. They are being marked as withdrawn.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anyone else have any information shared regarding resolved matters?
Yes, good morning, Chairman Dejanay Davis on behalf of the City of Philadelphia.
Good
I
morning.
would like to draw the board's attention briefly to number 34 on the list. I
34?
believe, yes, the last 4 numbers. I'm sorry, 33 on the list. Is it 30?
Yes.
Yes, the last 4, 2462, address 1720 West Tioga Street.
Okay,
Yes, so this matter is marked moot. I just wanted to put also on the record that the reason why this case has been marked moot is that the cease has already occurred last year. There was also a prior appeal of this cease in which the board ruled a city affirm. So as of now, the property still remains unoccupied and under cease. And with that, the city that case can be marked as moot.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Rodriguez? Fernandez, my apologies, Mr. Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First matter I'd like to address involves case number 26 on the list, appeal number ending in 3722, address 626 Levington Avenue, and appellant Michael Davalos. The violations underlying that appeal have been withdrawn by the department. And so I would ask the board to mark this case moot due to withdrawn violations, or just
Okay.
the disposition, excuse me.
Okay, and so legal counsel is Steve Masters. Is Mr. Masters present?
No, the case I was referencing is number 26 on the list. Mr. Masters is unless my list is wrong, maybe I'm using an old one. The case I'm referencing is appellant Michael Davalos,
Yes.
subject premises 626 Levington Avenue. Mr. Masters is here to represent Mr. Joshua Cohen.
Oh, okay, his name is also attached to this one as well.
Oh.
So if he's present, please speak up. If not, we will just continue.
I am present, but I am not on that matter. I'm only on the Joshua Cohen matter.
Okay, Mr. Masters, you just need to identify yourself for the record.
Absolutely. Steve Masters, STEVE-MASTERS with the law firm of Just Laws.
Okay, thank you. So we'll cross your name off then for the Levington Avenue property. Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Fernandez?
Yes, case number 34 on the list.
Yes.
Appellant Kimberly Doe, represented by Michelle Chung. Appeal number ending in 4435, address 1634 Cecil B. Moore Avenue.
Okay,
So there's a couple of different things at play here. I'll start by saying I spoke to Ms. Chung, and she is actually not a lawyer representing Ms. Doe. She filled out the lawyer section of the appeal form in error. She is just an acquaintance or friend assisting Ms. Doe. And the reason she was assisting Ms. Doe is because of a language barrier. Ms. Doe is a Korean speaker, not a native English speaker. However, I was able through Ms. Chung to come to a settlement agreement with Ms. Doe. And I believe, according to an email I received, I believe a Korean interpreter was arranged to be here today so that Ms. Doe could have a translation of the settlements announced to her before the board, so the board would be satisfied that the settlement was made with her understanding.
okay, Mr. Wade, do we have a Korean interpreter with us today?
I am looking. I do not see a Korean interpreter on as of right now. They were
Okay.
ordered.
Okay, Mr. Fernandez, we will, once we get into calling cases, as soon as that interpreter arrives, we will then break in and take up this matter, okay?
Very well. The final matter I have for the board at this time does involve Mr. Masters, Steve Masters. It's case number 31 on the list, appeal number ending ending 1350, address 1416 South 56th Street. Mr. Masters is here and he can get into more detail, but he submitted a continuance request. I had a long conversation with him yesterday, and after that conversation, I'm confident that this matter could be resolved without the need for a hearing. It's a little bit complicated, particularly the rental license violation, and Mr. Masters can get into that if necessary. But after speaking with him, I don't oppose his continuance request in this matter. However, I would flag for the board, even though I'm sure you're already aware of this, that this matter was continued one time before.
Yes, and the whole appeal process was untimely. And so, but you're confident that you can resolve this issue?
Yes, and in fact, after reviewing some documents provided by Mr. Masters, we're not going to oppose, and this is the board's decision whether to take it or not, but we're not opposed to the board taking up the appeal because the envelope was misnumbered by the department. It was the two numbers were flipped, and so the notice went to the wrong address.
Okay, so let's do this. Given that we will continue this matter, hopefully it'll be resolved and not come back to us. So
Thank you,
so
Mr.
we
Chairman.
continue.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, have a good day.
Okay, I have no further cases for this time. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman, and the rest of the board.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, good afternoon, board. I'd like to bring your attention to number 15 on the list. It's an appeal related to 1304 Crease Street. Brooke Reeder is the appellant, and I'm aware that there was a late continuance request that came in by Mr. Reeder, and I believe it was due to a death in the family. I'm wondering if that was granted.
And we discussed it in executive session. Wanted to hear the city's position before we made a decision.
The city has no opposition to continuing it, but we would ask that it get relisted at the soonest possible date.
Okay.
The case is
so-
not really a matter of public safety. It's a zoning issue regarding use of the property as an Airbnb.
Okay, so we will continue this matter, and Mr. Wade, administrator, will work with you to get a date.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there anyone else? Okay, but the board
Mr.
does have,
Chairman?
yes, ma'am.
I apologize for interjecting, but I know that earlier in executive session, we noted that case number 21 was given to us as moot complied.
Yes.
Mr. Rulo did not mention case 21, I believe, in his recitation, unless I'm mistaken, so.
No, actually, I was going to go over those executive session issues just now that weren't raised by the law department. But who's representing this matter? The final number is 003.
This is Caroline
682.
Curley,
Caroline
C-U-R,
Curley.
oops, sorry, C-U-R-L-E-Y. That matter is not complied. The other property, number 20, is complied.
20 is complied, but 21 is not.
Correct, thank you.
Okay, and so
Thank
that
you,
one, you
Stan.
prepared to proceed today with that one?
Yes, and the city will be raising a timeliness argument.
Okay, alrighty. So we will proceed with that one then. The board, I do have several other matters. I just want to check in with you. Starting with number 10, 003699, 2901 North 18th Street. Adli Abu Ali. Who's representing that for the city?
This is Caroline Curley, C-U-R-L-E-Y.
Yes, the issue here is that we believe that the ownership of the property is the LLC.
I believe that should have been read as complied.
That should have been read as compliant?
Yes.
Okay. So if you would then put that on the record, please.
As to appeal HA 2022-003699 for the property 2901 North 18th Street. Petitioner is Aldi Abu Ali. That matter is complied.
Okay, so that's moot complied. Thank you. Is Mr. Aldi present? Okay, alrighty.
Number
Number-
12, Mr. Chair,
Pardon me?
what did you have for number 12?
Number 12,
Nothing.
nothing.
The
I
chair,
had-
I have a note that was reported by our counsel that the appellant's an LLC on number
Yes, I
12.
haven't gotten, yes, I was going to ask who was representing that matter for the city.
That would be, this is Michael Rulo, RULLO, on behalf of the city. I was going to raise that with the board as well. As I believe you saw, the notice of violation in this matter was issued to an FKD Properties LLC. The appeal in this matter, however, was filed by a Nathan Aleem. And we have no understanding of the relationship there. I'm not sure if they are present.
Is it Mr. Nathan Aleem present? Nathan Aleem. Regarding 2533 North Colorado Street. Okay, what we will do when we call in regular order, Mr. Rulo, we will rule on it then. And we will take up this issue of representation at that time.
Okay, I guess I would just ask, I think regardless of the outcome here, it's going to have to be either continued if they appear, or our position is it's 2:10 well after the time of the hearing, and we'd ask that
Yes.
it's marked as failure to appear at this point.
What we will do, I'll come back to it because I want to get through these other items before we do that.
Understood.
Thank you. We will do that. Just give me a moment. Down to number 28. That's 003734 90 Red Lion Road. Who's representing the city in this matter? '90 Red Lion Road.
Oh, apologies. That's me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. This is an issue of corporate ownership.
Oh,
Is the
yes, we're
appellant
here.
present? Pardon me?
Yes, we are.
Who are you?
Kakabaru Chubiniza, he's next to me.
Okay,
Yeah,
and your
I'll be
name? We need
My
to,
name
first
is
of all, we
Paula.
need to see your screen, so we need to see your faces.
We're not able to put the camera on. We're traveling. I wrote the email yesterday. We're traveling our country, and then we just joined from the phone.
Okay, that's not
And
acceptable. That won't work for us today. Now, are you an attorney?
No, I'm his friend that helping him and
Okay, that's
translating. for him.
even, friends aren't allowed to do that. So one thing, we aren't going to hear this because it's a corporate ownership, I believe. Can you confirm that, Mr. Fernandez?
Well, so the notice of violation was issued to the individual, and then in parentheses, it has Royal Auto Sales LLC. So I was prepared to proceed. What I'm going to do in just a moment is, see, I was, I think it's a close enough call that it's at the board's discretion as to whether this case should proceed, but with the appellant being unavailable to appear on camera, and they did notify me, I believe on Friday when I sent them their evidence packet, that they were out of the country and possibly not available for today. And I requested that they submit a continuance request if that was the case.
Okay,
and
so
regardless, I have no opposition to this being continued if that's what the board determines.
Okay.
Mr.
And so
Chair,
in
I would have a question first. So
what's the
is
question?
the appellant Cuban Diaz, who's the appellant on number 28? The appellant.
Me, the Kakaberry.
I believe the appellant is I believe he put his name as the appellant. He put his individual name.
Okay, so the appellant is identified. Okay, so, and I'll ask you this, sir, is that property owned in your name alone, or is it owned by a corporate entity?
Yes. That's under my name, the property. Yep. The Royal Auto Sale.
Yeah, the violations at issue here are related to the business being run in that establishment. It's, use permit violation for an auto repair. So that sort of violation is often written to the establishment and not the owner of the business. So while I think it's an important data point in favor of, this being issued to the individual that is owned by him in his individual capacity, You know, I
Okay.
just want to flag that to the board that this.
Okay,
this
what
issue-
we're gonna do, sir, we're gonna have to continue this matter because we need to be able to see you. You need to be stationary. And so we'll, given the nature of this, we're going to continue. Okay,
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
thank you.
okay, so that's your dogs. Okay, let's move on. We have, number 37. That's is last four numbers is 3718, 2736
Oh,
South 7th Street. Mr. Wu, Zin Sin Wu. Who's representing that matter?
Believe Mr. Fernandez was just had something on the last matter. I didn't want to cut him off.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Rulo. Yeah, briefly before the appellant in the last matter leaves the room, which I think he might have just done, I wanted to ask the board to instruct him to get an attorney for the next hearing, since it sounds like at the very least it's going to be a close call as to whether he needs to be represented. I think I just missed the boat on getting that.
Yeah, you did. You may need to communicate directly because it's
Okay.
on the record response was that the property was owned by him.
Okay, I'm happy to email him. I have his email address. Is the board's position that an attorney is required for them to go forward?
Only if it's corporately owned, LLC or some other corporate designation, but if it's in his name alone as an individual, no.
Okay, I will look at the property records and
Okay,
let him know based on that. Thank you.
all right, thank you. Okay, who's representing this matter on South 7th Street?
That would be me, Michael Rulo, RULLO, on behalf of the city.
Yes, the issue here is that I believe it's LLC ownership, so we need corporate representation today. Is the appellant present? Jinsen Wu? Wu, W-U, South 7th Street. Okay, let's do this. We'll call it in regular order, Mr. Rulo, and we may find ourselves taking care of it then, okay?
So we're going to keep this until the end of the list?
We're gonna keep it as a regular order. It may come up quickly. It's just.
Okay.
Just because I wanted to just put on the record this matter of corporate ownership, unless your records are different than ours.
I guess our position would be it's, this clearly does require corporate ownership, but I think it's 2:15. They're not here and I just,
Okay.
think we're at the
All right.
point where we would just request that this be marked failure to appear at this point, given the timing.
Okay, I have one or two more ahead of you, so I want to go back and try to get
Understood.
through them. We do have some issues regarding inspectors who need to leave, so I want to respect that request as well and try to walk through those as quickly as possible. Okay, Mr. Wade, I think that's all of them.
Just number one was a continuance request that needed to be put on the record. I believe Mr. Reuter was unopposed. We were marking it must be heard.
Yes, is Mr. Reuter present? For number one, 6123 West Passyunk Avenue.
Yes, I am here.
Okay, Mr. Reuter, can you give us your image, please?
My camera is not really working right now, if you don't mind, if that's okay. Has been pretty wonky all morning. It fell off my desk a couple hours ago, so
Okay,
doesn't seem to be work. But I think I'm just simply saying that the city's not opposed to the continuance request.
okay, the issue here is that this is the third request. And so do you know if the appellant is present? Jacqueline Dispenza?
There was a representative for the attorney here during executive session. I don't know if they're still on or not.
Okay, Mr. Reuter, have you spoken with the legal counsel for this matter?
That's Vincent Melchior.
Yes.
Yes, yes, he had he has a family, basically it's a family matter, family emergency.
Okay. Well, we will continue this time based on that, but it will have to be must be heard going forward.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, what was the deposition of number 12? I know at one time I thought we needed an attorney.
They do, but the person didn't respond, so we're going to come back to it quickly as we go through the list.
Because I seen that he was on the call.
He didn't
Just-
respond when we
Just,
called.
he just joined recently.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, so what we'll do, we'll go back through the list as we, now that we've dispensed with most of the preliminary matters, we'll call the regular list and get to that person.
I had a request to call case number 23 first.
23?
Yes.
Okay, let's go there then. Thank you.
Case number 23, hearing appeal. HA 2022-002010. Strike that. Case number 23, hearing appeal number HA 2022-002001, 918 Wharton Street, Helen Chung.
Okay,
I'm here. Good afternoon. I'm here also as well on behalf of Helen Chung.
okay. Who's representing the city in this matter?
Good afternoon, members of the board. Will Fernandez for the city of Philadelphia.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Fernandez. Ms. Chung, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fernandez, you have witnesses?
Yes, Inspector Jian Chen.
Mr. Chen?
He
I don't
is
see him.
there.
Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Chen, you need to turn on your camera.
All right, give me 1 minute. I got pulled over. Sorry about that. Driving right now. I'll pull over. As soon as I pull over, it's probably just gonna be next 30 seconds. Oh.
Okay, Mr. Chen? Raise your right hand so that you may be sworn, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Chen, you must be in a stationary place when you're called as a witness.
I'm
You
trying
can't
to.
testify. Listen to me, listen to me.
Pulling out.
Listen
right
to,
now.
Mr. Chen, you were speaking over me. You can't do that. You will not be in a stationary place and be prepared for testimony when you call for a matter. And so being late while you're driving is unacceptable. Understood?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Mr. Fernandez?
I'm pulled over now.
Okay, Mr. Fernandez, it's on you.
Yeah, oh, I apologize. Was Mr. Chen sworn in?
Yes.
Oh, I somehow missed
Didn't
that.
realize he was still driving, otherwise I would not have done that.
Understood, of course. Okay, well, before I call Mr. Chen, I'll give a very brief opening to describe the violation here. Ms. Chung, the appellant, is the owner of 918 Wharton Street. There is an empty lot neighboring her house at 916 Wharton Street. At some point in the past, Ms. Chung maintains it was before 1973, I believe, and I have no evidence to contradict that. There was a row home next to hers. It was demolished, and a shared alley that both Ms. Chung and the neighboring empty lot have deeded access to was enclosed. You'll see photographs, but essentially the front alley where normally there would be an opening or perhaps a usable door is just, I think, boarded over, has a metal grate over it or something.
Oh, no, not the front. The front has a door that's
Ma'am, wait a minute.
openable.
I
Ma'am,
apologize. There is a wooden door. I
Sorry.
apologize. I was looking at a picture of the rear.
Okay.
Regardless, when Elle and I became aware of this violation, Inspector Chen issued a violation to Ms. Chung for making changes to the alley, essentially enclosing it without a zoning permit and a building permit. After reviewing Ms. Chung's appeal, talking to Inspector Chen and looking at some historical records, I discovered that 916 Wharton, the neighboring property, also have deeded access to the alley. And so at my request, Inspector Chen, wrote an identical violation to the neighboring property at 916 Wharton Street. It's the city's position that since both properties have access to the alleyway, they're both responsible for legalizing the violation. Ms. Chung or her attorney can speak more about this, but my understanding is that there's now a purchaser of that lot that's looking to build on it. And so there is a party that is reachable through which these negotiations to figure out, who's going to be responsible for what can be made. It's the city's position, though, that both parties are in violation for this, since the party line is in the middle of the alley. Both properties are, the alley is on both properties technically. With Inspector Chen, I will now present the city's evidence underlying everything I just said.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen and put the city's exhibits on the screen. Are those visible to everyone now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to scroll up to the table of contents. Inspector Chen, can you hear me okay? You're on mute.
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, can you please introduce yourself and state your employment, your position of employment?
Yes, hi. My name is Jen Chen. I'm a building inspector for the City of Philadelphia, L9 department.
Okay, and can you see the share screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, if you need me to zoom in or scroll or anything, you just let me know and I will do that.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm going to scroll down to Exhibit A in the city's evidence packet. It should be appearing on my screen right now. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Inspector Chen, can you please identify the document you're looking at right now?
Yes, that's the notification. That's the violation.
Okay, and have you seen this document before?
Yes.
And to the best of your understanding, is this the document that is under appeal today?
Yes.
Okay, what was the date of this notice?
March 29th of 22.
Okay, is that the date of the notice or the date of the inspection?
Date of inspection.
Okay, and what is the date of the notice?
Notice is the March 30th.
Okay, and what's the property that it was issued to?
918 Wharton.
And who is the owner of that property or the responsible party for this notice of violation? I can zoom in a little bit if you need to see.
Yeah, I can see. I just don't want to butcher the name. Kong.
Okay, is one of the responsible parties Ms. Helen Chung?
Yes, Helen
Okay.
Chung.
I'm going to scroll down now to where you can see the listed violations. Can you please describe the violations that you issued for 918 Wharton Street?
Yes, it's for the share alley, near zoning permit for closing it and a building permit.
Okay. Before I get into exhibits B and C, I'm going to scroll down to exhibit D, which starts on city exhibits page 17. Bear with me for a moment. Okay, and this somehow got flipped, so I'm going to rotate this. Can you describe what you're looking at right now?
Yes, that's the empty lot is, I believe, was 916, and the one next to it with the share alley is 918.
Okay, I'm not sure if you can see my cursor right now, but I'm hovering it over.
Yeah.
Okay, well, can you describe what I'm hovering my cursor over?
It looked like a door.
Okay.
Access to the alley.
Okay, and can you describe to the board why you issued the violations that you issued?
Yes, because the alley is closed in the back and the rear, and there's a lock on the gate for the front.
Okay, and why is that a violation of the Philadelphia Code?
Because you're not supposed to be is a safety issue.
Okay. I'm going to scroll through a few more photographs. Actually, before I do, did you take this photograph?
Yes.
Okay. And is it a true and accurate reflection of the conditions you observed on that day?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to scroll down to the next photograph. Apologies for the, I could have sworn that I oriented all of these, but I suppose maybe not. Is this 918 Wharton?
Yes.
Did you take this photograph?
Yes.
And is it a true and correct depiction of what you remember observing on that day?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to keep scrolling. What's this photograph of?
That's the photograph of the back, but the date is May 3rd.
Okay.
So it's not on that March 3rd, 30th.
Yes, and I will say, I'll take a moment now to say that since it's not disputed that the conditions have changed during any of these re-inspections, I just took the best photographs from across various inspections. And so This may be from one of the re-inspections you performed. Inspector Chen, I'm sorry, could you describe again what we're looking at?
That's the back towards the end of it where it's closed off.
Okay, and so are you saying that this is where the alley should empty out into the rear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We keep scrolling. What are we looking at here?
That's the side.
Okay, and is this where my mouse is being hovered? Is that the side of the alley?
Yes.
And does it protrude from the side wall of Ms. Chung's property?
Yes.
Okay, I'm now going to scroll up to Exhibit B. Inspector Chen, can you identify this document, please? I'll scroll down a little bit. I don't know if you can see very well.
It's a cell.
I'll scroll up and you can see the, yeah, can you, if you can't read the text, you may not be able to. I would perhaps ask opposing counsel if he would stipulate that Exhibit B is the deed for 916 Wharton Street, the empty lot, most recent deed, and then Exhibit C is the deed for Ms. Chung's property, 916 Wharton. And you know, if opposing counsel doesn't want to stipulate to that, then we'll make do the best we can.
We'll stipulate.
Thank you very much, opposing counsel. I appreciate that. Okay, well, so then with the deed stipulated to, I would just ask the board to take notice that in the description of the property located on City Exhibits, page 7, excuse me, here we go. City Exhibits, page 7, it says thence extending series of numbers along the southerly side of said Wharton Street, the distance, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong line. Thence extending a bunch of numbers and partly passing through a certain 2-foot wide built over alley, the distance of 44 and some other numbers to a point on the southerly side of Wharton Street. That's the alley being referenced in the deed for 916 Wharton Street. And then on City Exhibits, page.
Oh, Mr. Fernandez?
Yes.
Would you just go to the title page of each of those deeds, just so we can see it?
Yes, of course.
Just so we can, you passed one, let's go to the first one, because I saw something that's, I thought I saw Passyunk Avenue reference.
Yes, so this confused me as well for quite some time. The deed through which the neighboring company that is now purchased 916 Wharton, this is a deed that includes multiple addresses. That's why it took me a little bit to confirm that I was on the right page. So this deed is a combined deed for 1312 East Passyunk, 1314 East Passyunk, 1316 East Passyunk, and finally 916 Wharton Street, which is the relevant property to this appeal.
Okay, all right, thank you. And just go to the block title page for the 918, just so we can just see it for the record.
Yes, and then 918, that is the next.
No. You passed it. I just want to go up again.
Well,
Maybe
so
I'm asking the wrong- keep scrolling up. No. I just needed to see where it says D for X property. That's all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's actually here. Here's the tax cert, and you can see here street address. It's got the 4 properties, including 916 Wharton Street.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, do you want to see on the page where it references the alley?
I think you just done that.
Yeah.
No, he did it.
Mr.
I think
Chair.
you did it. I think you did it for 918. Do you? I assume the legal description on this deed includes a description for 916. That's the included property. And does that the legal description include the similar language for the alleyway?
Yeah, so the City Exhibits, page 7, this is for 918 Wharton Street. And
this is 916. This is not.
I apologize. I'm mixing up the numbers. The neighboring property that is not owned by Ms. Chung, the property that is owned by the company that is going to perform construction there, that's 916 Wharton. it's not on one page because the deed is, multiple properties. But this is the reference to the alley that corresponds to 916 Wharton Street, the neighboring property.
Okay, and then the issue is, can you show that same language in 918 deed?
Yes, so the next exhibit, Exhibit C, this is the deed through which Ms. Chung took ownership of her property at 918 Wharton Street. You can see 918 Wharton Street here. And if I scroll down to the next page, this one's nice and simple because it's just a one property transaction. Together with the free and common use, right, liberty, and privilege of a certain alley as and for a passageway and water course at all times hereafter forever.
Okay,
And that's the second to last, that's the last line before the,
okay. Thank you.
okay. And I will, of course, happily provide a copy of the city exhibits package to board administration so that the board can review it if they would like to.
Thank you.
Okay, I have no further questions for, actually, Inspector Chen, one further question. To the best of your knowledge, has Ms. Chung, does the violation continue in the form that you described in those photographs to this very day?
I'm not sure about today, but the last time I went there, yes, it was still
And approximately when was the last time you were there?
probably like a week. Well, last Friday, I believe, was
Yeah.
the day that I wrote the violation for 916.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Yeah, before we go to cross-examination though, Mr. Fernandez, would you put up again the photograph of the rear of 918?
Yes.
I just want to confirm that. That, yes. Scroll up a bit. I noticed there is a, Mr. Chen, I noticed there's a air conditioning unit above. Is that attached? How does that work out physically if you have a alleyway in that space that's enclosed?
Yes, I believe that's not allowed. Might have to file a violation for that.
I think the chair, Inspector Chen, I think the chairman is asking how the air conditioning could be located directly over the enclosure of the alley.
Yes.
To help answer that question, I'll ask you, Inspector Chen, is the alley enclosure where I'm highlighting right now, that's option A, directly under the air conditioning, or is it
Yes.
over here to the side? That's option
It's-
B.
It's directly under the.
Okay, so this is the air conditioning enclosure. I'm sorry, this is the enclosure of the alley, the middle
Yes.
part with the black tarp.
Yes.
Okay, well then I guess I have the same
Yeah,
question.
because that means that the second story is built over the shared alleyway.
Yeah, that was I will admit, even though I didn't discuss the specific point with Inspector Chen, just from reviewing the photographs, I was under the impression that this was the alleyway's enclosure, but I suppose it maybe not, maybe is not.
All right, Mr. Regard Buto, do you have any cross-examination?
I have
Yeah,
a
just a few
question,
Yeah.
if I may. I just want to understand the violation. There's at least on the front, because I can't figure out what's at the back, but on the front, there's a fence and there's a door, which I believe Inspector Chen said the door was locked, and the fence. If the door was not locked, would the violation then not be, because if the door was not locked, one would have access to the alleyway? Or is there still a violation because there's looks like an 8-foot fence that's been placed in front of the now that's on the property, and that fence would be something that was put there arguably by the owners of 916 and has nothing to do with 918. The only violation that 918 appears to be a part of is the fact that one can't access the 3-foot wide alleyway. Am I making sense with my, it's a question.
Yeah, well, if you remove the fence, it still be a violation because there's no way to go through the alleyway. Is the back end is closed off. But the back end of the alleyway is closed off.
This might provide some clarity. I found another photograph And I will say now that it was not part of my evidence packet, so if opposing counsel wants to object to it, they certainly can. But I think it would shed quite a bit of light on this because it's starting to make a little bit of sense to me. So I'm gonna, hearing no objection, I will switch my share screen and begin sharing
Okay,
one of my monitors. So this is a photograph that was not included in the evidence packet. And with this, it looks as if the air conditioning unit and what was
yeah, we don't see that, we aren't. we
So
aren't doing that.
I apologize. Let me, I don't know how that went wrong. Is
Mr.
that
Chair, I have
there
a
you
question for Mr. Chen.
Yeah, now we have it, yeah.
Okay.
now we have it.
Yes, so just, I happen to live nearby here, and so I have familiarity. I know that this is Capitolo Park, Columbus, yeah, I think Capitolo Park. And so this would be this is Wharton Street over here. So what I believe to be the rear, the sealed rear of the alley looks to be in fact Miss Chung's sidewall, and
Right.
the alley
Right.
terminates prematurely at this structure. So
Correct.
I
Okay.
apologize for the confusion. I didn't realize that I would have included this photograph if I knew that it would be, illuminating in any way like this.
Okay, thank you. We have cross-examination. Sir, you have any cross?
I guess I still have my question. If the doorway was open at the front and there was access, which is not clear to me, at the rear, notwithstanding the fence, would that resolve the violation? If one could walk down the alleyway, because the alleyway is only 3 feet wide, and that door was unlocked, and I still don't understand whether it's blocked at the rear or not, but if it was unblocked at the rear, would that clear the violation?
The rear was not blocked. It would clear the violation, but the rear is blocked off. In that picture, the rear is blocked off.
If I may try to ask a question to clarify, Inspector Chen, would it be a violation to have a door on an alleyway so long as that door was not locked and the alleyway remained usable?
Yes, it's not a violation.
That's not a violation. Okay.
Mr. Pink, does that answer your question?
I believe so.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's get to cross.
How are you, Mr. Chen?
Hi.
Did you take, and I'm sorry, the photo's now gone. I'll share my
Oh,
screen.
I'm sorry. I can put it back on the screen.
Yeah, if you could just, I think it was page 19 of the city exhibits.
Sure. Bear with me for just one moment. City exhibits page 19 or PDF page 19?
PDF page 24.
Okay, here we are. Just flip it around.
Mr. Chen, I was just wondering if you took this picture.
Yes, I believe I took this picture. Yes.
Okay. Have you ever seen this property with this rear alleyway open?
No,
Okay. And have you ever seen any structure built on 916 Morton Street?
no,
Okay. So from the beginning of your familiarity with these properties, there's been no property in the 916 lot?
yes,
Okay. And has the rear of this alley from the beginning of your familiarity with these properties ever been open?
no, not that I know of.
Okay. Have the conditions existed at all? Have the conditions changed at all, excuse me, since the beginning of your familiarity with these properties?
No, it haven't changed.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just for the board's information, I looked at Atlas Pictometry where you can go back, and I went back to, I think, 2008 or maybe 2011 was the earliest it went, and the property appeared exactly the same to my eye. They switched the type of door in the front, but it was still sealed. And if Ms. Chung sets forth testimony that it's been like this as far back as she remembers to the 70s, the city has, nothing to contradict that.
Okay, I do have one question, Mr. Fernandez. Hopefully, Mr. Chen can help with this. It appears that rear addition of 918 am I looking at, does it appear that it was built 3 foot into the alleyway? because the configuration of that side, it stops at that rear edge.
Yes, it does look like this little bit that has the black tarp on top of it.
Yeah.
It appears that that is flush with the alleyway, which would mean that it is infringing onto the neighboring property line.
Okay.
Based on just my observation of this photograph. Inspector, if you'd like, Inspector Chen can be called to give more information.
Yeah, well, Inspector Chen, do you have any sense of whether or not that rear wall of 918 is infringing on the
Yes.
6-foot alleyway?
Yes,
Or the 3-foot alleyway, rather?
3-foot alleyway, yes.
And your response?
Yes, it is infringing.
Okay, so that's a future problem that somebody may have to address. At some
Yeah, I'm
point.
sorry, I don't understand. Can we clarify what we're referring to?
Yeah,
right now?
it is not germane necessarily to the current case, but as I observed the photograph, it appears the way that the enclosed alleyway entrance is constructed, the wall beyond that to the rear of the property, it appears infringes on the shared alleyway space, which may or may not be an issue once the new building is constructed. That may or may not be an issue, not sure. But I don't want to complicate the matters, but I just wanted to get a sense of it.
Yeah, I think he's describing the structure that I'm outlining here.
Yes.
He raised the point that because it's flush with the 3-foot alley that is 1.5 feet in your client's property and 1.5
Right.
feet in the neighboring property, that it was built over the property line, and I don't believe it's part of the alley as far as I can tell just from these photographs, but.
Okay, and in follow-up, I'd just like to ask Mr. Chen if he's aware of any time, since he's been aware of these cases where this area we're referring to didn't exist as it currently does.
When I got there, it was like this already.
Okay.
As far as I know, it was like this.
Okay. May I give a brief outline of?
Yes, just one moment. Mr. Fernandez, any additional witnesses?
No further witnesses, and the city rests. Thank you.
Okay, sir, you may proceed. And I apologize for misstating your name.
Oh, no, it's Regal Budo. It's a tough one.
Okay.
A little outline or a little backstory on these properties. My client, Helen Chung, owns 918 Wharton Street. 916 Wharton Street is this vacant lot. A developer bought the vacant lot and began excavating on the vacant lot, and it caused damage to our client's property. We've since filed a lawsuit, and there's some litigation happening there regarding the damage that was done to my client's property at 918 from the construction on 916. Subsequent to the lawsuit being filed, coincidentally, a complaint was, my understanding is L&I was made aware of this condition regarding this alleyway that has been there since my client's family owned the property in the 1970s. There has never and she can correct me if I'm wrong, to her memory, there was never a building here at 916. They never built this structure that we're talking about today. And they also never affirmatively built that rear area that we were just referring to with Mr. Chen. If I may, can I pull up a sort of a Google Street View just of the property?
Okay. Now, will you be putting on your client to testify, sir?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, rather than you testify.
I'm sorry?
I said rather than you testifying, I want to hear from your client.
I'll call Ms. Helen Chung.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I don't believe Ms. Chung was sworn in yet.
Yes, that's where we're in it initially.
I apologize. Thank you.
Ms. Chung, do you currently own 918 Wharton Street? And how long has 918 Wharton Street been in your family?
Since 1973.
Okay, 1973. And To your knowledge or to your memory, has there ever been a home built adjacent to you at 916 Wharton Street?
No.
Okay. To your memory, has your family ever added any additions onto 918 Wharton Street?
No.
Okay.
Ms. Chung, would you speak up a little bit, please, when you respond?
Sure. Sorry, I'll hold it closer. My mic's.
Thank you.
I have a Google Street View pulled up. Can you just tell me what this is depicting right now?
That's the front of my house on Wharton Street. The little door on the side is the door to the alleyway. And the empty lot would be 916 Wharton Street, which has been vacant as far as my family can remember.
Okay. Where my cursor is, I'm towards the top of your house going down this this drain. Is this the side of your home?
Yes.
Okay. And as it goes down, the drain moves a little bit to the right, right?
Mhm.
And that's because this door is sort of inside of your property and on the property line. Is that correct?
Yes. It's
Okay.
the shared, it's in the middle between the two houses. So when the house was taken down at 916, they left that little portion because that was the alleyway.
Right. Okay. So your family never added any addition to this alleyway. It is just as it remains now. Okay. Is there a lock on the alleyway?
The lock is there. It has been unlocked. It's just there for optics so that, you know, homeless people don't try to go in there.
I'm
Right.
sorry, Ms. Chung, could you speak a little louder, or I didn't hear your answer?
I said that there is a lock on the door physically, but it is not locked. It's only on there for optics so that homeless people don't go in there.
So the lock is just there so vagrants don't move in and out of the alley. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Also, I'm gonna tilt this and go down the street a little bit more. If this is 618, can you tell me what's in view of this Google Street picture right now?
Those are my neighbors' houses.
Okay.
You can see another shared alleyway between 920 and, oh no, that would be, yeah, 920 and 922.
Okay, so there's a similar shared alleyway between 920 and 922, is that correct?
Right, yes.
And does it appear to be built into the structure similar to yours?
Yeah, I would imagine that's how it used to be before 916 was demolished.
Before you proceed, Mr. Cheng, I'm not sure where you are, but Mr. Chen, I think there's a lot of background noise that's interfering with the testimony. If you're not speaking, maybe you could mute yourself. Thank you.
Okay, so your neighbors have a similar shared alleyway, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and to your knowledge, this alleyway was never built or anything like that? It's just been there as long as you can remember?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know if your neighbors keep a lock on their alleyway as well?
I guess I don't know that. I never went to look. I would imagine that they do, but I don't really know.
Okay. And are you involved in ongoing litigation with the owners of 916 Wharton Street?
I am.
Okay. And again, your family, to your knowledge, has never built any additions to this alleyway or to the rear alleyway, is that correct?
No.
Okay, and to your knowledge, is the alleyway as it stands, as it was originally constructed?
I think it was left that way after the demolition of 916 Wharton Street.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think it was constructed that way, and that's where it gets kind of complicated. I think it was left that way when they demolished 916 Wharton Street.
Understood. But you never built any back enclosure to the alley, is that correct?
That's
okay. That's all I have.
I do have a question for Ms. Chung. Ms. Chung, the other neighbors, at least the one neighbor that we've just seen that has a similar configuration in the front, What is the rear of their properties like?
I don't know. I imagine. Yeah, I don't know. I've not
Okay.
been back there to see if it goes all the way through or not, but
Do we have any photographs of the demolition as it stands today? Because I'm curious as to whether that wall has been taken down. It will be taken down.
which wall?
The wall that outlines the front gate, front door.
Mr. Chairman, the demolition, again, I think Helen testified that she doesn't even remember when this demolition occurred. It's been vacant since she can recall in the 70s.
I
And
misspoke. I was referencing the excavation that has recently occurred that she alleges damaged her home.
right, so there has been no more excavation because this is the subject of an ongoing lawsuit.
Okay, does Ms. Chung, do you know what the plans are in terms of the new owner's desires for his portion of that alleyway?
Don't know. I believe from the initial plans, I don't know what the plans are. They don't really communicate with me.
Because that may resolve this problem, but create new problems if they take it down. Okay.
I don't know what they were planning to do. I thought they were
Okay.
going to build around it. I didn't think they were going to take it down, but that's just my own assumption.
Yeah, they probably aren't going to leave it standing because, never mind. But any cross-examination, Mr. Fernandez?
Mr. Chairman, I think you already asked the only question I had, which was regarding the neighboring alley and whether it was sealed. So with that, no, I have no further questions for Ms. Chung.
Okay, anyone else have any questions for Ms. Chung?
I'm a little confused. Is there a house behind your house on a parallel street to Wharton Street, Ms. Chung?
Behind my house is Passyunk Avenue, so it's a diagonal street and it's not parallel to me. They did put houses back there. So the back area behind my house, that's all of the backyards. All of the backyards are back there.
So you have a backyard?
I do have a backyard and it doesn't connect to the alleyway either. So I don't know, it's not exactly like I could use it as a fire escape, or if there was an emergency, I could come through the back alleyway because there's no access to the alleyway from my house anyway.
When you bought it, but it's quite conceivable that there was an alley or there was access from the rear of your house into that alleyway at one time. Is that?
I would have to assume at some point that they did. I don't know why they would put an alleyway there anyway, otherwise, because it's a very narrow alleyway. You can't even, it like fits like just the width of my shoulders, maybe. You can walk through there sideways. It's not, it's tiny. It's very, very small. It's a complete waste of space, honestly.
Well, it's not unusual if you've spent some time wandering or dealing with properties in the city of Philadelphia to have 3-foot wide alleyways which provided access for garbage pickup, which I think is historically what these are about. But what you're saying is whenever they tore down, it appears that whenever either on or before the demolition of 916, access to that alleyway was closed off.
That's what
from your property.
That's how
Okay.
I would imagine. That's how I would understand it. Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I got a
I
question
have
for
a que-
Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, Mr. Tennant.
Mr. Fernandez, the deed showed that the new owner of 916 bought some properties on Passyunk Avenue, correct?
Yes, I think.
Did any of those properties butt up in the back with the rear of 916 or 918?
That is a good question, and I do not know, but I can take a look at Atlas right now and see if I can figure that out.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Washington?
Yeah, this is a quick question for Inspector Chen. When they were showing the pictures of the front of the houses, is that the only house that has a access on the side? Because when I was looking at the rest of them, I didn't see any other doors.
I'm not sure. I believe there's one more, but I'm not sure on those pictures. That's all.
Well, how about when you was out there? Did you see any other access?
2-4 out. Again, I don't recall. I don't know.
Mr. Washington, does that answer your question?
I would like to have that picture of the front placed back up again.
Okay, let's do this.
So would I, Mr. Chairman.
If I may, I could do that in just a moment, but to answer Chairman, or excuse me, Board Member Tennant's question, 1312, 1314, 1316 East Passyunk were purchased at the same time as 916 Wharton Street. And that is 1, 2, 3, these 3 properties here. So yes, it is the 3 properties in the rear adjoining 916 and 918.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
yes, it's both of those. Yeah,
Mr. Fernandez, that's not the picture we're looking for.
Yeah, no, that's the second one. We're gonna ask him to put that
Okay.
back up
Yeah,
again.
now I will switch, if you give me a moment.
Thank you, Mr. Fernandez. I
Of course.
appreciate it.
And actually, I think Mr. Galabuto put that photo up. It was a Google.
Yeah, I can pull it up again.
Yeah, that would be
Yes,
great.
sir, if you
Thank
put that up. Yeah, because the issue is whether the other neighbors, similar conditions, I believe, right? Is that the issue? If you could scroll it, turn it, so you can see the neighboring properties.
Right there.
Yeah,
Here.
yep.
I don't see any other.
There's a door there.
accesses.
Wait a minute, scroll down, right there. Oops, go to the left. Yeah, right there.
Could you zoom in on that?
Yeah,
I
that's
think
that's
this
a
is as
door.
far as it will go, but I'll try. Yeah,
One
that's it.
reason I'm saying that because in front of what you're describing as a door, there's a plant.
Mhm.
Yes. Mhm.
So I
There's a
don't.
plant there, yeah.
But arguably, what
That's what I
what
said.
we're looking at, that alleyway would lead back to the rear of whatever address that is on Wharton Street. And then you'd walk across probably through the backyards to get to, I guess, Passyunk Avenue or whatever it is, these, based on the map you just showed us, Mr. Fernandez, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at Atlas and it would actually lead, the one we're looking at would lead directly to something that is labeled on Atlas as the L&I confiscation warehouse. So, yes, it would lead to the rear of the properties where there are patios or yards, but then there are other buildings. This one, it doesn't empty out onto Passyunk or anything. And I can put my Atlas map back on the screen if you'd like to see. And while I have the microphone, I would just call back to Inspector Chen's testimony where he said that without a lock, there's no problem having a door at the front of the alley. The issue here that leads to the zoning and permit violation is that the rear of the alley is sealed in a way that can't be, undone on short notice.
Yeah,
Okay.
if I may, real
Yes,
fast.
sir.
Again, Helen's family has owned this house in these conditions since the 70s. She's testified that they never closed the rear and she's unaware of the conditions that close the rear. I would say that, and we deny that there's a violation, but I would say if the board does find that there's a violation, we would request a stay of enforcement until the conclusion of litigation with 916 Wharton Street that has to do with these properties.
Ms. Regalbuto, I am concerned about the construction plans for 916. Does your client have any access either through city records or anything else to determine what is to be built and how it's to be built?
I'm sure we can, I don't have that on hand, but I'm sure we can get that.
Okay, I mean, I may not have it on hand, but I'm saying, have you and your client done any research to determine what's ultimately planned for that space?
Yes.
I do have copies of plans from when they start. It was they're probably 3 or 4 years old though. I don't know if they have changed.
And I can say based on a issued permit, so that would be public record, it's a 4-story single-family dwelling.
I do,
Mr.
yes.
I'm asking only because I'm wondering whether or not any variances to existing building codes would be required to build on that tiny space, that's all.
I don't, would they need a variance if that, the portion on their property is in their deed?
No.
Not necessarily, but the issue would be what they plan to put there. That's why I asked.
Okay,
Mr.
because
Chair, can we
their
have
deed
a
does
quick
mention a
executive?
certain covered over
Okay, that
alleyway.
was, I can see.
But wait a minute, we got multiple speakers. Okay, Mr. Tennant, you made a request?
I just request we have a quick executive.
Sure, okay. All right.
Thank you.
Just to do that, when we come back, we will go off the record to an executive session for about 5 minutes, if not less, complex legal theories. Okay. I'd like to hear closing arguments from both the appellant as well as Mr. Fernandez. We'll start with Mr. Nicholas Rigoberto.
Yeah, so again, these are I'm talking about my client's property 918 and the neighboring property 916. These are two properties that, as you mentioned, really complicate this matter because number one, they are in active litigation where they're parties on opposite sides. And this subject area is on both properties' deeds and on both property lines. Also, it's complicated by the fact that nobody really knows what led to the conditions that are present. All we know is that Helen's family for 50 years now has known the property to be as it is. She testified as much. We don't know who closed the back, whether it was the owner of 916 or the owner of 918. I think one thing that we do know is whatever solution is going to be present here, if a violation is found, which again, we deny that there is one present. If a violation is found, there has to be some sort of joint solution with 916. I think opposing counsel mentioned that 916 was issued a warning as well because this condition does exist on both properties. And again, because of the status of both homes being in litigation against each other, we think that whatever solution is presented, there has to be a stay of enforcement until after the litigation is resolved. That way we can properly address this. That said, as I previously said, nobody knows the conditions that led to the closing of the alley. We don't know if it was 916 or 918. I think Helen, as the homeowner of 918, didn't do anything to bring this about. This was just something that has existed for 50 years now and has only come into attention because a lawsuit was started, because her home was damaged. She removed the lock to when she received the violation so that she can remedy it as best she can and cure the violation as best she can. But this is just something that the rest of this is not easily fixed. I'd assume when 916 is eventually built, the back alleyway is going to remain closed. I don't know what their plans are. If they fill that area that's open, my understanding is that it remains closed. So it currently, as it stands, no addition was built by Helen. Again, it's been like this for 50 years. So
thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to be extremely brief today. The fact of the matter is that the alley was at some point closed and it was done so without zoning permit or building permit authorizing such closure. At the end of the day, the resolution of this violation is going to be a civil matter, and I'm confident that it'll be resolved by Ms. Chung and the opposing party, the neighbor, while they navigate the situation that they're in. With that said, if the board does affirm the violation, I wouldn't be opposed to a reasonable stay of enforcement. I don't think that I'm giving anything away when I say that this is not going to be at the very top of the list of matters that require swift enforcement by the department. But I would ask that the board not grant such an open-ended stay of enforcement as, through the end of litigation, which we have no idea when it will be. With that said, the city would request that the board affirm the violation as written, while taking note that the city has issued an identical violation to the neighboring property.
Okay, thank you very much. We will now call the vote on HA-2022-002, 001, 918 Warden Street. We've had considerable conversation about this, but city affirmed with the stay of enforcement for 1 year. Please join me or suggest a modification if not board members.
I'm fine with that. I would have maybe, I don't know how long this litigation will continue, but obviously, probably they're anxious to start building if they can resolve their dispute. So I'll go along with city affirmed with a 1 year stay. And no one's being harmed, I don't think, in the meantime.
City affirmed with a 1 year stay of enforcement.
City affirmed with a 1 year state of enforcement.
City affirmed, 1 year stay of enforcement.
City affirmed 1 year stay of enforcement.
Thank you very
City
much.
affirmed, 1 year stay of enforcement.
Thank you, Mr. Patton. I apologize for speaking in front of you. My apologies.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. This is what we have. The city's position has been confirmed and affirmed, but you will have a year before any additional enforcement action occurs. The owner of 916 has received a violation notice, so at some point you'll need to talk. We're hopeful that you can resolve this matter before the year is up, because it has to be resolved. Thank you very much for your participation and your patience. Have a good day.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the board.
Thank you. Have a good day. Mr. Chen is excused. Mr. Fernandez.
Thank you, members of the board. I'm sorry, was there a question put to me?
No, I don't believe so.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Mr. Chair, I have two cases that involve interpreters. I believe they'll
Okay.
both be brief. I'd like to call them so we can excuse the
Yeah.
interpreters.
The only question I have for you, Mr. Wade, do we have any issue with timing regarding witnesses?
I have not been, that was the only attorney that reached out to me with I believe there are others, but no one has reached out to me as of yet.
Okay, the one we heard is the one that had issue with time.
That was the first person that reached out to me, yes.
Okay, thank you. So
The-
let's call the interpreter cases then.
Case number 34, hearing appeal number HA 2022-004435, 1634 Cecil B. Moore.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Will Fernandez for the city of Philadelphia in this matter.
Okay, do you have a witness today, Mr. Fernandez?
I do not. I have an agreement with the appellant in place. However, the appellant, while according to the schedule and the appeal packet appears to be represented by Ms. Michelle Chung, is actually not represented and is also a native Korean speaker. And so the Korean interpreter was ordered to appear so that they could translate the terms of the agreement so that we could be sure that Ms. Doe understands and is in agreement with the terms.
Okay. Mr. Wade, do we have a Korean interpreter?
Yes, we do.
Okay, who's that person?
This is Korean interpreter speaking.
Good afternoon. Would you raise your right hand so you may be sworn? Would you give us your full name, ma'am, in addition to before you're sworn?
Yes, my name is Eunbin Yu. It's EUNBIN, last name YU.
Okay, Ms. Yu, do you swear and affirm that you will faithfully translate between Korean and English and Korean in this matter?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You can place your hand down. Ms. Yu, what we'd like you to do is interpret everything that's spoken in English on behalf of the appellant, Ms. Du, and her responses have to be spoken by you. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So if you would share that with Ms. Du presently.
Mr. Chair, excuse me, it looks like they're riding down the street.
Okay, say that to them and then instruct them that they have to be stationary. They can't be driving.
네, 안녕하세요. 제가 오늘 통역을 도와드리겠습니다. 지금 이 청문회가 진행되는 동안에는 운전을 하시고 계시면 안 되시고요. 정차를 해주셔야 되세요.
1분만 달라.
Can you give us 1 minute, please?
Okay.
We're parked.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fernandez, please.
Thank you. The notice of violation that was appealed to this hearing contained a number of violations.
Oh, Mr. Fernandez, You have to do it in short statements because she
Of
has
course,
to.
I apologize. I will break it up. I'll start over again, and then I'll pause so that the interpreter can
Okay.
interpret.
Also,
great.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, the appellant will need to be sworn in if they're going to make any statements as well.
Okay, sure. Ms. Du, would you kindly raise your hand so you may be sworn?
오른쪽 손을 들어주시겠어요?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give will be the truth so help you God?
지금부터 말씀하시는 모든 진술이 다 진실일 것을 맹세하시나요?
네.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr.
Okay.
Fernandez?
Thank you. The violations at issue today relate to 1634 Cecil B. Moore Avenue.
네, 오늘 위반 사항은 1304 시설비 애비뉴에 관한 내용인데요.
A number of violations were originally issued, but as of today, only one remains.
최초에는 몇 가지 위반 사항이 여러 가지가 있었는데 지금 당장은 단 한 가지로만 하도록 하겠습니다.
That violation is for a new sign erected without the required zoning permit.
그래서 지금 그 허가가 없이 새로운 간판이 생긴 거에 대한 위반 사항인데요.
By working with Ms. Chung, I was able to come to an agreement with Ms. Do. The appeal would be dismissed as city affirmed with a 45-day stay of enforcement.
그래서 지금 저희가 합의를 봐서 45일 동안 시에서 그 더 이상 강제적으로 조치를 취하지 않는 걸로 합의가 이루어지셨고요. Yes.
In other words, Ms. Do understands that she is agreeing that the violation written for the sign needing a zoning permit is correct and legitimate. And in exchange, the city agrees not to take any enforcement action for at least 45 days from today.
그래서 오늘 날짜로부터 45일 동안 시에서는 별다른 강제적인 법적 조치를 취하지 않을 거에 대해서 이해하고 계신 거 맞으신가요?
네.
Yes.
Okay, and I take it from that response, Ms. Do agrees. Excuse me, interpreter, could you just confirm that Ms. Do is in agreement with what was just outlined?
네, 그 내용에 동의하시는 거 맞으세요?
네.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you. Thank you, interpreter. Thank you, Ms. Do, and thank you to the members of the board prior to their vote.
네, 감사합니다.
Okay.
Thank
We
you.
will now call the vote on HA-2022-004435. Interpreter?
네, 그럼 지금부터 이 내용에 대해서 투표를 시작하도록 하겠습니다.
1634 Cecil B. Avenue.
1634 시설비 애비뉴에 관한 내용이시고요.
Kimberly Do. Kimberly Do.
킴벌리 도시요.
네.
Yes.
City affirmed a 45-day stay of enforcement per agreement.
네, 합의한 내용 그대로 시정부에서 45일 동안 법적 조치를 취하지 않을 것으로 결정이 되셨습니다. Okay.
City affirmed 45 stay of enforcement per agreement.
City affirmed per the agreement, 45-day stay of enforcement.
City affirmed 45-day agreement with the state of enforcement.
City affirmed per agreement, 45-day of enforcement. Stay, I beg your pardon, 45 days stay of enforcement.
City affirmed 45-day stay of enforcement per agreement.
City affirmed per agreement, 45-day stay of enforcement.
네, 이하 동문입니다. 45일 동안 시정부에서 법적 조치를 취하지 않을 것으로 결정되셨습니다. Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon. Everyone, parties are excused.
감사합니다. 좋은 하루 보내세요. Thank you for using our services. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Okay, what's the next one?
Case number 36, hearing appeal number HA 2022-004299.
Good afternoon, Board. Michelle Reinhardt for the City of Philadelphia.
afternoon, Ms. Reinhardt.
Reinhart.
Good afternoon. Okay, and we have our Spanish interpreter present.
Yes.
Spanish interpreter.
Okay, good afternoon. Ma'am, would you put your name on the record, please? Spell your last name.
Okay, last name is Villagomez, V as in Victor, Illagomez.
Okay, first name.
Consuelo, Consuelo.
Okay. Would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear to faithfully translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English this matter regarding 611 Distance Street?
I do.
Thank you very much. Now, as we did in the previous matter, I'd like you to interpret to Spanish all the English that's spoken. And of course, you will be the responding voice to anything that's said by the appellant. Understood?
Yes, understood.
Thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Reinhardt, do you have any witnesses?
I do, however, there was a preliminary matter raised to the board regarding the untimeliness of the filing.
Okay.
So I wasn't sure if you wanted to address that first and to confirm whether the appellant is present.
Okay. Interpreter?
Thank you. Le pregunta a la señorita Michelle Reinhardt si tiene algún testigo y dice que sí. Sin embargo, hubo una cuestión preliminar que se llevó a cabo frente a la mesa directiva con respecto a que no se llenaron estos papeles de forma en tiempo. Y quieren confirmar también si el que está apelando la decisión está presente.
Okay. What I'd like to do is the appellant is Nilsa DeLone. Is that the appellant, Ms. Reinhardt?
Yes.
Quiero confirmar si el nombre de quien está apelando esta decisión es Nilsa DeLone. ¿Es correcto, señorita Reinhardt? Sí.
Ms. DeLone, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn?
Señorita DeLone, por favor, puede levantar su mano para que pueda tomarse juramento.
I don't see her image.
I don't, and the appeal was sent in by Petitza Cadillo. Service was made to the address she provided.
Okay. Ms. DeLone, are you present?
Se envió la notificación de esta junta a la dirección que ya nos proporcionó. Señora DeLone, ¿está usted presente?
Anyone really here representing the interests of 611 Distance Street?
Alguien que esté aquí representando los intereses de la propiedad del 611 de Distance Street.
Okay. Ms. Reinhardt, there's no response to the call. What is your preference?
I would request that, oh, I apologize.
Señorita Reinhardt, no hay ninguna respuesta a su pregunta. ¿Cómo quiere proceder?
I would request that the appeal be dismissed for non-appearance.
Yo quiero pedir, por favor, que esta apelación sea eliminada al no haberse presentado.
Okay. All right, thank you. What time do you have, Mr. Pickett?
3:35 p.m.
Interpreter?
La hora de este momento son las 3:35 de la tarde.
Right. We'll call the vote on HA-2022-004299.
En este momento estamos llamando a votación en el caso HA 2022-00429.
611 Distance Street.
Dirección 611 de Distance Street.
Okay, Nilsa DeLeon.
Nilsa DeLeon.
City affirmed for lack of appearance.
No se presentó.
City affirmed non-appearance.
La ciudad afirma el que no se presentó.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Tampoco se presentó.
City affirmed non-appearance.
La ciudad afirma que no hubo presencia.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
La ciudad confirma al no haber presentado.
City affirmed non-appearance.
La ciudad afirma por no haberse presentado.
City affirmed non-appearance.
La ciudad afirma por no haberse presentado.
Thank you very much. That resolves this matter. All parties are excused. Thank you, interpreter, for your participation and patience.
Muchas gracias. Con esto se resuelve esta cuestión. Muchísimas gracias y pueden retirarse. Gracias a la intérprete por su participación y paciencia. Thank you very much for using our services. Bye-bye.
Good day.
Thank you.
Mr. Wade,
There was a request to hear case number 39.
39, okay.
Case number 39, hearing appeal number HA 2023-002716, 2847 Shipley Road, Felicia Nanangai.
Okay, who's handling that one for the city?
Good afternoon, Amy Skiles on behalf of the city.
Okay, good afternoon, Ms. Skiles. Do you have a witness?
Yes, my witness is Inspector Alvarado.
Okay, Inspector Alvarado, if you're present, please speak up so that we can swear you in.
Sir. I'm here.
Okay, Inspector Alvarado, two things. Because we're in a formal hearing, take your hat off, please. And secondly, raise your right hand so that you can be sworn.
Ready.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
Okay, thank you very much. You can place your hand down. Okay, is the appellant present? Ms. Felicia Nangai.
Hi, how are you, sir? And everyone?
Okay, would you raise your right hand, ma'am, so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Before we get started, Ms. Nangai, whose name is on the deed to this property at 2647 Shipley Road?
My landlord, Mr. Obina, that's who I know. I don't know if he's the one on there or if it's someone else, but he's the
Okay.
one that I know as the owner of the home.
Okay, so you are a tenant,
Yes, sir.
okay? You have a lease for the space that you're using?
Yes, when I when I came, I signed a lease to be able to rent part of the home.
Okay, thank you.
The
Already?
basement.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Skiles?
Yes, and just by way of brief background, this is an appeal of an intent to cease of a basement unit. Both the owner of the property and the occupant, Ms. Nangai, have appealed the cease. The owner's appeal was already denied for failure to appear. That appeal was listed in July, so we're present today to hear the occupant's appeal of the intent to cease.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and with that, I will call Inspector Alvarado.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm here, present.
Okay, Inspector Alvarado, where are you currently employed?
I am employed at License and Inspection East District,
And how long have you been employed with the department?
6 years.
And what are some of your roles with the Department of License and Inspections?
I work as an inspector off the complaints for the city of Philadelphia. We go out, do inspection, fire inspections, inspect properties, businesses, all types.
And are you familiar with the property located at 2847 Shipley Road?
I am.
And how are you familiar with that property?
I had a complaint for an illegal basement unit at the property address 2847 Shipley Road.
Okay, and did you inspect that property?
Yes.
And what did you observe any violations at that property?
Well, at first I couldn't get into the basement, but I did inspect the first and second floor. Apparently the owner lives upstairs on the first and second floor. And then you have an occupant that was living in the basement where I couldn't get in at first, but then at the last minute during our pre-court inspection for the owner's hearing appeal, that's when I was able to get into the basement.
Okay. I will now share my screen.
All right, I'm gonna
Inspector Alvarado, you probably be getting some background noise from your colleagues. So if you could ask them
hold on.
to, thank you. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's proceed.
And Inspector Alvarado, can you see the document I'm sharing on my screen?
Yes, I am. Yes, I
And
can.
what is this document labeled City Exhibit 1?
This is the violation notice in order to correct.
Okay. And what were the violations that you cited to this property?
That the property owner must obtain a new use registration permit for converting the basement into a separate basic unit or return it back to its original use, which is a single-family dwelling.
Okay. And currently, does the owner have a use registration permit to allow for a basement unit at the property?
No,
Okay. And so based on that violation, did you also issue an intent to cease operations?
I did.
And what would be needed to lift that cease or to comply the violation in order for the basement unit to be legal?
In order to comply this violation, the owner has to obtain a zoning permit to allow for a basement unit to be used for living purposes.
Okay. And why is that important?
It could be a fire hazard. If there was a fire to appear or be on the property, you know, you have to have certain amount of doors and windows to get out, you know.
Okay. And I will now move on to City Exhibit 3. What is depicted in this photograph?
This is the front door into the basement unit.
Okay. And as you said, you were able to eventually gain access to that basement unit?
Yes.
Okay. And what is depicted in this photograph?
This is a picture showing the basement steps leading from the first floor down into the basement.
Okay. And is this a photograph that you took in the basement?
This is the photograph showing where the owner built walls to separate the basement unit from the first floor.
Okay.
So in other words, when you walk down the basement, that's the end.
Okay. And what are these the wires depicted at the top of this photograph?
Those are electrical wires that were put into place that lead to, I think, a circuit box or
Okay.
out of a circuit box.
Okay. And now moving on to City Exhibit 4, what is this photograph?
This is a photograph of the basement unit showing the front entrance door walking into the unit.
Okay. And this photograph?
It's showing the outlet without a cover on it.
Okay. And what about in this photograph?
This photograph is showing the outlet hanging out of the wall with a microwave in front of it.
Okay. So does this outlet appear to be up to code?
No,
Does this give you concern for electrical violations and fire code violations?
yes,
Okay. And what is in this photograph?
that's just showing the heating system in the basement.
So the heating system is also located in the basement
Yes,
with the apartment unit.
correct.
Okay. And what is in this photograph?
This is the hot water heater that's also in the basement.
Okay. And this photograph?
Is the heater.
Okay. And what is depicted in this photograph?
This photograph is showing me coming back out of the bathroom that's in the basement. The window that you see in the back is a window for the bedroom.
And what is this wire that's running down the wall?
It's either electrical wire or cable wire.
Okay. And have any of these electrical wires been permitted? Is there an electrical permit for this basement unit?
No,
And what is depicted in this photograph?
this is showing the bathroom, a stand-up shower, a sink, and you also have a gas meter in there.
Okay. And what about this photograph?
This photograph is showing me going towards the bathroom. The door on the right is the closet where the heating system, the hot water heater is.
Okay.
Something that, you know.
And what about this photograph?
This is a separate circuit box inside of the bedroom that was created or installed by someone.
And what about this photograph?
This photograph is showing me standing in the living room, showing the kitchen and then a door leading into the bedroom.
And what about this photograph?
This is the photograph showing the stove at the time of the inspection.
Okay. And so this stove and this kitchen area, this is all located in that basement unit?
Correct.
And what is depicted in this photograph?
This is showing the path into the property from the front door, showing the electrical wires.
Okay. And it appears as though there's a lot of extension cords running throughout the basement.
Correct.
Does that give you concerns about potential fires that could start in the basement?
Yes.
Okay, and that is my final picture. I will stop sharing my screen. So after your inspection, and when did your last inspection occur of that basement unit?
The last inspection was when I went to inspect the property for the previous hearing appeal, which the owner never showed up.
And so that would have been July 17th, 2023?
Correct.
Okay. And based on your inspection in July, do you have safety concerns regarding this basement unit?
Well, number one, we have safety concerns only because inside the basement, the only thing that she had in the basement was a carbon monoxide detector. There was no smoke detectors at all. So if they were to have a fire, she would never get warned.
Okay. And as you stated before, without the proper permits, the department is unable to guarantee the safety of the electrical work that's been done in this basement.
That is correct.
And there's a heater, there's a stove, there's the hot water heater, the gas meter. They're all located in the basement with this unit.
Correct.
And so does that also raise safety concerns?
Very much.
Okay. And so based on that, do you believe it's necessary to move forward with the cease at this time?
The Department of License Inspections does agree that we should move forward with this intent to cease.
Okay. I have no further questions for Inspector Alvarado at this time. I offer for cross.
Okay, Ms. Nangai, do you have any cross-examination questions for Mr. Alvarado based on his testimony? Keep in mind that you can share with us your side of things in a moment, but do you have any questions for him?
Yes. I would like to know how he says that who contacted him in regards to stating that there was a violation or some kind of like a misdoing with my habitating in the in-law suite, which is what I know it to be down here in the lower part of the house.
Well, the reason why we came there was because of the complaint. And unfortunately, a complaint comes in anonymously. So we don't even know who put in the complaint.
Why don't you just state that is the wife of the owner of the home that made a call to you?
Because the
I'm going
complaint,
to object. This assumes facts, not in evidence. Inspector Alvarado
Ma'am,
testified
I'm not
that it
assuming.
was.
I was
Miss
told by-
Nangai, you can't interject.
Okay.
She gets the opportunity to make an objection. I have to rule on that objection, okay?
Okay.
And so the objection noted is sustained, okay? Ms. Nangai, what you're to do in this instance, when you're cross-examining an individual, you ask them questions about what they've testified to. You asked him earlier who made the complaint. He said he didn't know. So that's it. Move on to another question if you have other questions.
Okay, so I would just like to say my part.
Okay, give me a moment. Wait, I gotta wait till the city completes their presentation. They may have more witnesses. I gotta see.
Sure.
Ms. Skiles?
No further evidence. I would just ask to move the city exhibits into the record.
So moved. Thank you. Now, Ms. Nangai, share with us your understanding what's going on.
Hello. Thank you everyone for your time. I'll try to be brief as I can, but just starting off, currently I'm very ill and I am disabled That was not the case when I first came here. As you can see here, this is the letter from Jefferson Neuroscience Headache Center, and where I have the documentation showing right here that my disability and so forth. When I moved here a little about 4 years ago, the place was to go. I was in pursuing medical school, and it was to try to be closer in the city, but still in a safe zone, safe area, because I grew up in suburban Philadelphia. Didn't know the city that much. So trying to find somewhere I could afford, and also that would be a good distance that I can get to downtown or the area with all the schools. I ended up here basically. I honestly want to start off because I'm not making a case, not replacing the owner of this home. I just wanted to at least speak my part because I indeed, as I stated, am not well and I do need assistance. But the only thing I am asking is just a time extension for me to be able to leave this property and be able to do so in a safe and timely manner. Right now, I did not know that this property was not to code when I came. As things went on, the wife of the owner, Mr. Obina Idoziem, her name was Demiana. She became very friendly with me, would frequently visit, talk to me, how am I doing, etc. Then, her and I guess her husband started to have issues, and she would advise me at a time of COVID came, and I lost my employment. So and then at the same time, the government had issued that based on certain circumstances, you could not just evict someone for the situation that I was in, basically. So she started, for some reason, I guess they were having problems, like I said, and it started to become hostile, taking a lot of things out now towards on me, as if I'm in control of their budget and what's going on. She wanted her husband to force me to pay when I was not employed. I had proof. I showed them everything. She would come and harass me verbally and everything. And so it was very just so I mean, I was afraid. I'm a young woman, single by herself. And so I just kept to myself and tried my best. I continued to search employment and work to continue for my schooling. She then, because of, and the end, basically in all of this, she started to become very vindictive and spiteful. And this right here today, unfortunately, is the result of one of them. She went and reported that this, where I reside now with the home, was not to code. So this way, the inspector would come and evict me or some form like that, cause a scene of embarrassment, and then have me in the streets, basically, because I have no other family or anyone else to turn to and say I'm going to go to, even today, if it's something were to happen. So as we speak now, the woman has left the home and is in the process of divorcing her husband, and out of spite, she did what she did, leaving. If she knew this place was not to code and all these things, why, since the first day, I met her and talked to her, would she not say it to me? And so that I would be aware and be able to, do something then and move forward. But now here we are 4 years later, and just to spite me and her husband, really, she did this move. So I literally am a victim. I'm in the middle and as a pawn. Me and the owner of the home, Mr. Obina, had already made an agreement that by December I would leave the property, because I had talked to friends and that they would be able to assist me by that time. And so
That
literally
December of what year? 23?
2023, sir. Yeah,
Okay.
2023. So I am honestly here at everyone's mercy, asking as to why. This is why I had filed an appeal myself as well, because I received only one notice actually, which was the final one. So I filed an appeal as soon as I could, and I'm here with you guys today, just asking honestly to allow me to be able to have until December 2023, as me and the homeowner had agreed upon, for me to be able to leave, and so that I can be somewhere safe. And with my illness, I can also continue to get the proper treatment I need, and then also go back and finish my medical training and schooling. I've worked very hard all through my life, and I respect the law and I respect our country and everything that it stands for. Like I stated, I would have never, and also I think when Mr. Alvarez was here, I did not, as I said, I was not well, but here is the fire extinguisher was here, just so at least you guys know, and
He was referencing a fire and smoke detector. That's what.
Oh
he
yeah,
said.
the smoke detector is being installed, reinstalled. It was here, but there was a problem with it. It had to be refixed. So, but
Ma'am, I have a few
nevertheless,
questions for you.
okay.
The owner, do you know if the owner has made any plans to legalize the basement apartment?
Yes, sir. He is very much working to get quotes on who is properly licensed to do the work. First off, to break
But
the
he has,
wall.
but has he submitted any permit applications to the city?
Yes,
Or
he
to the
has,
zone?
sir. He
Okay.
has.
I don't think
And
there's any record of that happening.
um,
Okay. So, okay,
so for
that's your
me,
understanding.
yeah, for
Second
me, it's the
question.
best of my understanding that he has told me. So
Okay,
that's
second
it.
question for you. Have you or he together been willing to allow you to occupy a different space in the house so you would not be in the basement?
We have not discussed that yet, because at the time, all the way up till about this week, his wife was still here, and the woman did not want to have any type of assistance towards me at all. Like I said, so now maybe we would be able to talk about more things, but at that time, we were not able to even discuss that. But now there is space, and it is something that possibly could happen. Now that you stated it, it's an idea that I could present to him. But right now, I literally would be homeless and on the street, and I don't even know where to go, what to do. So that's why I'm here today, appealing with you guys, and I've been, very gracious and patient, even throughout the pain that I'm going through right now. And I'm just asking for some leniency and mercy to allow me until December 2023 to be able to leave.
Okay, I'm not, the board is not prepared to make that commitment at this moment, but I guess the question for you is that one of the concerns we have is that the owner didn't show up for his hearing. He appealed as well, but he didn't show up. So that's one issue that we have to consider. And so the second thing is that you're in a space that's illegal for a lot of different reasons and creates a hazard. That's something we have to always also be aware of. Anyone else have any questions of Ms.?
Mr. Chair, I have a real quick question with the inspector.
Yes.
Would you Inspector Alvarado, would you consider the property with a health and safety issue?
Yes, number one, there's no smoke detector when I was down there at all.
Like I stated, that.
No, excuse me. So, Mr. Alvarado, for your inspection, you really believe that the main thing is the health and safety issue with the wires hanging all over everywhere?
Yes.
No more questions, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, Ms. Skiles, do you have any other witnesses for this?
No other witnesses. I do just have brief closing remarks.
Okay, before you do that, Ms. Nangai, do you have any final thing you'd like to say to us? Because we're going to do a short executive session. I had to do this again, guys, but we need to do a short executive session before we vote. But Ms. Nangai, do you have any comments before we vote on this matter?
Yes, sir. I would like to state that I hope the court realizes I am the victim in this. I am present for what I know that was given to me to be able to appeal to you and speak to all of you guys. I have been here 4 years, and so 3 more months, honestly, if it was that horrible of a situation that I would be very unsafe, I would not even ask. And 3 more months will not kill me then, but it will at least help me so that I can be on my feet and be safe somewhere new.
Okay.
And him missing his the date, I believe there was a confusion, and that's why he had missed it. But he's older, but he
Okay,
had
you can't speak for
emailed
him.
them. He emailed you and everything, and so and he showed it to me because I wanted to make sure we were, there was something that he was doing on his end as well. So that at least I wanted everyone to know. Also, due to my ill health, I know pictures, people say 1,000 words. I'm a very neat and tidy person. I was doing cleaning and trying to put things together and prepare myself to leave by December. So when Mr. Alvarez came, I don't want this image. It seems like there's an image painted of like there's this hanging there and everywhere. No, it was just honestly someone that is not well. I don't know. Everyone has been sick before, and imagine your worst day, and then someone comes and they want to, film you. It's hard. And then when he would come, I only got to him, saw him the one time. He stated that it was not, he couldn't get in, as if that someone was like evading him. That was not the case. I was not present. So there, I did not
Understood.
know of it. So I just want
Understood.
that at least to be understood so that,
Thank you.
board understands. And
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your time.
Thank you. We're going to take a short executive session, and we'll be back in about 3
Mr.
minutes.
Chairman, I'm going to
Yes, sir.
have to recuse myself, if I may, for the time being.
Okay, thank you. Please note the record that Mr. Pincus will not be voting on this matter. Okay, let's go into breakout room, please. Rob, we're ready to go back on. Thank you. Ms. Skiles, do you have any final argument?
Yes. The city is asking for a city affirm today and to be able to move forward with the cease as soon as possible. I do understand the predicament that Ms. Nan Guy is in. Her landlord unfortunately rented her a unit that has never been legal and that is seriously dangerous in the eyes of the department. If the department believed it would be safe to do so, we would work with Ms. Nangwai and grant her a stay of enforcement so that she could locate a new place to stay. However, we simply do not believe it's safe at this point to grant any amount of stay of enforcement. As the photographs showed, we only are aware of one means of egress in this unit. There's a kitchen unit with a stove, the heater, the hot water heater, the gas meter, they're all located in this basement unit. We saw photographs with multiple extension cords. The electrical outlets that were in the unit were hanging from the walls. They do not appear up to the electrical code. And this leads the department to have serious health and safety concerns, particularly fire concerns for this basement unit. I know Ms. Nangwai thinks it would be safe for her to stay here. However, the department firmly believes that this unit is not safe. There are serious fire code violations. We have serious concerns about a fire occurring in this property, especially since we know there are no smoke detectors or fire alarms active in the unit right now. So we would be asking for a city affirm and no stay of enforcement. If the board is inclined to grant some stay of enforcement, we would ask that it be as short as possible, simply because of the safety concerns that we have for this unit.
Okay. Ms. Nangwa, before we vote, do you have any final comments?
Yes, I would, because I would just like to state that honestly, out of this whole situation came out of someone being spiteful, utilizing me to I don't know, cause as much pain and a hurt to me and someone else as possible. The person who, made this complaint that knew about it could have warned me since the time I arrived here. As of now, she has moved herself and is in Texas. It's very sad because it's just pure, evil and meanness that has led me to be in front of everyone today. And if it was just even I was left, I would be leaving on my own upon my own understanding. It's very sad because that
Okay,
with
Ms.
my
Nangwa,
health
really,
and
I'd ask you to restrict your comments to specifically the issues regarding the violation notice.
Sure, yes. I would like to
Okay.
say that the city representative, I believe, is being very, very harsh with me. And that there is no care as to how I would be or where I would be. 4 years I've been here. If there
Okay,
was
Ms. Nangwa,
there is a fire,
Ms.
there is a
Nangwa,
fire detector.
Ms.
It's
Nangwa,
in-
I know you aren't an attorney, so I'm giving you grace because of that. But the
Okay.
arguments have to be on the facts of the matter, not a personal matter, impugning someone's character, or suggesting that she's arguing a certain way because of how she feels about you. That's not where we're here.
Yes,
We're only
excuse
here
me
because of the
that
exact
came across.
violation.
Excuse me if it came
Mr.
across
Chairman,
that way.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask just who's in the room speaking alongside Ms. Nangai? There's someone else speaking, giving her answers while you're asking her questions. I don't know if other people hear it, but I hear
No,
Ms. Nang-
sorry, the TV.
Yeah, I've heard that
was
earlier.
on low. The television's on low and I just turned it off now.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem, sorry about that.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, look, we're going to bring this thing to a vote. We understand that this is a difficult and emotionally charged event, and we spent a considerable amount of time listening to the testimony and also debating among the members of the board. A couple of things, Ms. Nangwai. One of the things that those forensic bureaus who are going to help you move in December, whenever they help you move, you really should have them come over now and help you get rid of some of the things that are cluttering up the apartment, and help you install a couple of smoke detectors if you can. That would be an immediate task to tackle tomorrow, if not tonight. For whatever number of days you stay in that apartment, you want it to be as safe as it can be made safe. And your landlord should also do that for you. If he's in fact the good person you believe him to be, he needs to take some action right now. So that the things that are cluttering, the footway, the wires, etc., that needs to be taken care of right now. We've prepared to vote. Each member, as always, will vote according to his own understanding or her own understanding of the code and presentations that have been made. So I will call the vote. Just give me a moment. I will call the vote for HA-2023-002716, 2847 Shipley Road, Felicia Nanguai, City Affirm, for the state of enforcement to December 31st. She joined me in the vote.
City Affirm, December 31st.
City Affirm with a proposed state enforcement until December 31st.
City affirmed, stay of enforcement to December 31st, 2023.
City
Mr.
Affirm.
Chairman, we have a difficulty.
Pardon me?
Go ahead, Ken.
City Affirm with stay of enforcement until December the 31st, 2023.
City affirmed the stay of enforcement through December 31st, 2023.
Thank you very much, everyone. We appreciate your efforts and your participation in this matter. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, everyone, for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
Okay, let's move on to the
Mr.
next
Chair,
matter.
I'd like to call matters 40 and 41 for Michael Mayberry.
Okay,
They should be brief.
okay, thank you.
Case number
Should
4.
should I stay on or leave now?
No, you're done. You can leave. You
Okay,
excused.
thank you. Okay.
Case number 40, hearing appeal HA 2023-002857, 532 West Ansbury Street, Michael Mayberry. And case number 41, hearing appeal HA 2023-002856, 4500 North Fairhill Street, Michael Mayberry.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Yes, hi board, this is Caroline Curley for the city of Philadelphia. I apologize. These two matters should have been read out loud in the beginning of the hearing as moot. The cease has been lifted on both these properties. I think we were using an older list and neglected to read those out. I realized Mr. Mayberry was here and wanted to allow him to leave.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mayberry. Apologize for the inconvenience.
No problem.
Okay, have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Mr.
Okay.
Chair, just to make sure that my records are right. On case number 40 and case number 41, we marked it as moot.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Both marked as moot. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Wade, let's go back up to the top of the list.
At this time, I don't have any requests, so we could start at number 12. Hearing appeal HA 2022-003928, 2533 North Colorado Street, Nathan Alim. Service was made. I do not know if he was on the hearing.
Nathan
believe-
Aline. Nathan Aline.
Will Fernandez for the city of Philadelphia. Hearing no response to the call of the case, I would ask that this matter be marked city affirmed for failure to appear.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Cheney, what time do you have? You mute-
4:28 p.m.
4:28
4:28 p.m.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much. We will then pull the board on HA-2022-003928, 2533 North Colorado Street, Nathan Aline, city affirmed non-appearance.
City Affirm, not appear.
City Affirm non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City Affirm non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Okay, what do we have next?
Case number 16. Hearing appeal HA 2022-003636, 6108 Belden, Garcia, Yao, Media.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Caroline Curley on behalf of the city.
Okay, do we have the appellant present?
I'm
Do we
here.
have this- Your name, sir?
Yael Mejia.
Okay, are you the owner of 6108 Belden Street?
Yes, sir.
Is
Can
anyone
I
else
get
on the
a-
group list?
Oh, sorry, can I get an interpreter?
Not at this moment, you can't. That's something you have to request before the hearing is held. Okay,
sorry.
Mr. Wade, did we know that there was a need for an interpreter?
No interpreter was ordered.
Okay, Ms. Curley, it appears that this really becomes a request for continuance. What is your position on that?
I mean, I think the city is a little limited if he's requesting an interpreter, even though his appeal is in perfect English and he filed that. I mean, we don't really have any like leg to stand on if he's requesting one.
Okay, well, sir, understood that we don't like being surprised this way at this late hour. So that's a problem. But you've requested an interpreter, so to be fair with you, so that you can fully understand what's happening, we will reschedule your case and have an interpreter available to assist. Understood?
Yes.
You will get information in the mail. Mr. Wade, the administrator, will
confirm-
make sure that it's
confirm
rescheduled.
Spanish?
Yeah,
Yeah, in
is it-
Spanish.
Spanish, yes.
And I would just ask, you know, to the extent the board is able to schedule this as soon as possible and that it's on the beginning of the list, as we did have an inspector waiting, you know, this entire time. And I do feel, you know, I don't want to waste the inspector's time for this kind of
Understood.
late request. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
And to the inspector, our apologies. As you probably heard, if you're still here, we just found out. And so have a good afternoon. Okay, Mr. Mayor, you're excused for today. You will get a notice for a future hearing. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
Okay. All righty, what do we have next?
Case number 21. Hearing appeal HA 2022-003682 6616 Yoakum Street. Sylvia Kaba.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Caroline Curley on behalf of the city.
Okay, Ms. Curley, again, Ms. Kaba, anyone representing the 6616 Yoakum Street? 6616 Yoakum.
Service was made.
Okay, Ms. Sylvia Kaba. Sylvia Kaba. Well, no one's responding. Ms. Curley, what is your pleasure?
The city would request a city affirm for failure to prosecute.
Okay, thank you very much. What time do we have, Mr. Pettit?
4:32 PM.
Okay.
Thank you,
4:32
Mr.
PM.
Pettit.
Okay, we'll call the vote on HA 2022-003682 6616 Yoakum Street, Sylvia Kaba. City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Wade, what's our last case?
This isn't our last, I believe we have 3 more, but
Oh, we do? Oh, okay.
case number 22, hearing appeal HA 2022-000157 6150 Lebanon Ave, Igor Andruska.
Okay, who's handling the city?
Will Fernandez for the city of Philadelphia.
Afternoon. Mr. Andruska. Well, Mr.
William Thompson Jr. for Mr. Andruska.
Okay, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Chairman.
Will your client be with you today?
I saw him on the screen a long time ago, but I haven't seen him recently, but I see a Modern Living LLC.
Yes,
That was
that's
him.
me. I'm here.
Okay.
Okay,
Sir,
he's here.
will you be calling him as a witness, Mr. Thompson?
No, sir, I think this could be resolved preliminarily.
Okay, well, let's do this. Mr. Fernandez, do you have a witness that I need to swear in?
I do have a witness. It's Inspector Tamika Blair, but I echo what Mr. Thompson said. I don't think there's any dispute as to the facts here, at least judging from the appeal that was submitted to the board.
Okay. Would it be appropriate for the two of you to have a breakout room and reach resolution and announce it? And then we can move on to the other matters while you're doing
I'd
that?
be perfectly comfortable with that if that's okay.
Sure, yeah, I don't know if there's any mutual resolution here, but I'd certainly be happy to give it a try and speak with opposing counsel. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Wade, is there a way to put them in a breakout room for a few minutes?
Yeah, do you want Inspector Blair in there as well?
Mr. Fernandez?
I'm sorry. Sure.
Okay, so we'll excuse your party to the breakout room, and then we'll move on to what are available remaining matters we have to deal with.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
You should all have room too.
Okay, Mr. Bay, what else do we have?
Case number 32, hearing appeal HA 2022-003720, 5845 Pentridge Street, Martha, Udall, and Young.
Okay. Is that, hopefully that is not Mr. Fernandez's case.
It is not. Michelle
Okay.
Reinhardt for the City of Philadelphia, REINHART.
Thank you. Is anyone representing 5845 Pentridge Street?
I'm here.
Okay, and your name, ma'am?
Martha Udoyang.
Okay, thank you. Would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Ma'am, are you the only name on the deed to this property?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. Ms. Reinhardt, do you have a witness?
I do. Inspector Michael Herbert is available.
Okay, Inspector Herbert. Unmute yourself, please.
Good evening.
Raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you. Ms. Reinhardt, please proceed.
Thank you. First of all, Inspector, can you please introduce yourself for the board?
My name is Inspector Michael Herbert of the L&I Vacant Property and Vending Unit.
And how long have you worked for L&I?
I've worked for 6 years as an inspector.
Have all of them been in the same unit?
No, they have not. I worked in operations and also now currently work for the Vacant and Vending Unit.
Okay. I am going to share my screen in order to share the exhibits that have already been shared with
Please.
the appellant. Are you able to see what has been previously marked Exhibit 1?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not able to see it.
Okay, I think it's up now.
I apologize. I don't recall your last name. Are you able to see it now on your screen?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think something came up. Yeah, it just came up.
Okay,
Exhibit.
excellent. Inspector, I'm showing you Exhibit 1 that is labeled violation notice in order to correct. It is dated August 11th, 2022. Can you tell us what this notice of violation is for?
Okay, I'm going to enlarge it. But basically, this notice of violation is for various violations incurred upon this vacant property. Number one, there was trash and debris, weeds growing on the front lawn. And then finally, without foregoing all the other violations, there was no vacant property license attached to it.
Okay. There was also a violation written to repair the porch roof and the property drains, correct?
Yes. Mhm.
And to replace the windows in the front of the property?
Yes.
Okay. I am moving down to what has been previously marked City Exhibit 2. This is labeled a final violation notice dated November 10th, 2022. Are you familiar with this document?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And what was the result of the inspection that you did for this property here?
The inspection failed. The violations remained, were not addressed. I'm not even sure if I had done an enforcement action upon the property, but I will say that the plywood that was attached to the front windows was removed and windows were installed.
Okay. I am going to show you what has been previously marked City Exhibit 3. This is a photograph that is dated August 10th, 2022. Are you familiar with this photograph?
Yes.
Okay. What does it depict?
It shows the overgrowth in the front, the trash and debris in the front of the property. The absence, and I don't know if I actually wrote it, for absence of handrails. And I can see further, it was, yeah, just various violations still remain on the property.
Okay. I am going to scroll in a little bit of violation and the drainage at the top of the porch. Were those concerns noted in the notice of violation addressed in this
And
picture?
it looks as though those have been addressed. To the minimum standard. You're breaking up.
Ms. Reinhardt, you're losing connectivity with. Okay, let's do this. Mr. Wade, you may need to take her out and bring her back. She's completely frozen at this point.
I got it.
Am I on?
Ma'am, yes, you're still on, not just yet. The lawyer representing the city was frozen, so we had to bring her back in so she can complete her presentation, okay? Now she's muted. Ms. Reinhardt, you're muted.
Hi, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
So I will log off for just one more minute.
Okay.
It's popped up himself, like, it's up.
Mr. Wade, did she leave completely?
I believe she was just gonna reconnect. I thought that's what she said.
Okay. Okay. We're having a bit of a problem. Let's do this.
This is Mr. Thompson from the breakout room waiting for me. It took a while. for me.
No, we'll beat you shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Herbert and Ms. Onyea?
Yes, sir.
What we're going to need to do is continue your matter for about 10 minutes because the attorney hasn't reconnected yet. And so I just don't want there to be a lot of dead air. So for the record, we will continue this case for about 10 minutes and move on to something else and come back. And I apologize for the inconvenience for both you, Ms. Onyea and Mr. Herbert. But I think that's the only thing we can do until the lawyer comes back. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. and we'll be right back with you. I'd like to go back to the previous matter, Mr. Wade, that involved Mr. Fernandez and Mr. Thompson.
I'm gonna recall case number 22, hearing appeal ending in 0157 6150 Lebanon Avenue. Igor Andruska.
Thank you. Mr. Fernandez, were you able to reach a resolution?
Yes, the appellant is going to withdraw their appeal, but I'm sure you want to hear that from his
Yes.
counsel rather than me.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we're going to withdraw the appeal after having the sidebar with Mr. Fernandez. Greatly appreciate you allowing us to do that, and we're just going to withdraw our appeal.
Okay, thank you very much. This is HA-2022-000157-6150 Lebanon Avenue. Case withdrawn as noted by legal counsel for the appellant, William Thompson Jr. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Have a nice day. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks, Mr.
Alrighty.
Fernandez.
Good luck.
Okay.
There's
Ms.
one last-
Reinhardt back.
Ms. Reinhardt's not back as of yet. There's one last matter where I don't believe the appellant is here, if you want me to call that in the record.
Yes, please call it out.
Case number 37, hearing appeal HA 2022-003718, 2736 South 7th Street. Exinson Wu, service was made.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And you, I think this is Mr. Fernandez. Who's the counsel for the city on this matter?
Yes, Will Fernandez for the city of Philadelphia, subbing in for Mr. Rulo.
Okay. What is your preference?
Hearing no response to the call of the case, I request that the matter be marked city affirms for failure to appear.
Okay. Thank you very much. Time, Mr. Pettit? Mr. Pettit?
4:58 PM.
4:48?
4:48.
Yep, 4:48 PM. Okay. Thank you very much. We'll call the vote on HA 2022-003718, 2736 South 7th Street. Zin Wu, WU, city affirm non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm.
City affirm for non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
Mr. Pettit, Mr. Tennant, your connection went off and right at the end of your vote. Would you mind re-voting, please?
Sure, sir. City affirm non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right, I think that's it. We just need to connect with Ms. Reinhardt.
Yes, and I can represent to the board. I just got a message from her that the internet has cut out on her internet and phone, and she's scrambling to resolve the issue and get back into the hearing.
Okay, that was her case is the last case. Let's see here. We are scheduled to hear cases on the 17th, which is Thursday. I'm wondering if we were to add this one at last minute for Thursday's calendar. Would that be a possibility, Mr. Wade?
It would depend on the appellant,
Okay.
the appellant's availability.
Yeah,
I mean-
I'm going to ask both Mr. Herbert and Miss Martha Inyang, would you be available for Thursday?
I would love to.
Yes, sir.
I just called off from work for this today.
Yeah, I know that's inconvenient, so I apologize, but in this instance, the lawyer isn't here. We can't move forward since she started the matter. The internet in her area, apparently something happened, everything went out.
Did you say 17? Around what time?
We don't know what time it would be. We will put you early into the listing for that day. Mr. Wade, if we could put her up early and just call it.
Absolutely. She can also, I can have Ms. Reinhardt possibly reach out to see if anything could be resolved prior to the hearing as well.
Ms. Fernandez, speaking on behalf of Ms. Reinhardt, what is that solution work?
That would work. Alternatively, for the board to consider, if you prefer, I learned that somebody who does have access to the internet has a copy of the evidence packet, and I could step in and finish putting on the remainder of the case for Ms. Reinhardt.
Oh, okay. If you're able to do that and she's agreeable, then I'm fine with it. That takes care of it right now. Do you need to confer with her or is she okay with that?
I think we're okay. I just need Ms. Curley to email me the packet, and I think we'll be good to go.
Okay, she has the capacity to do that?
I believe so.
Okay, all right. Well, I think we have a better solution than the one I offered. We're going to continue today, okay?
Okay.
So, Mr. Wade, read that back into the record. We'll bring it back on.
This was case number 32, hearing appeal ending 3720 5845 Pentridge, Martha, Udo, and Young.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Fernandez, your name on the record, please.
Will Fernandez for the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, thank you. We were in the middle of testimony by Mr. Herbert.
Yes, hello, Inspector. Oh, well, actually, before I call Inspector Herbert, is it, yeah, there he is, I see him. I'd like to ask the board to maintain a clear record. I think it might be easiest, or I guess cleanest, for me to just take it from the top. Would that be okay for the board? Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, bear with me for just a moment as I get my share screen up. Okay, Inspector Herbert, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Since we're starting over, very briefly, can you please just state your name and your position of employment?
My name is Michael Herbert, Inspector Michael Herbert of the L&I Vacant and Vending Unit.
Thanks, Inspector Herbert. I just put a document up on my screen that you can see right now. Can you identify that document, please?
It's a notice of violation with order to correct.
Okay, what's the date of the notice?
I'll
zoom
what
in.
is that? August 11th, 2022.
Yes, and what is the property cited via this notice?
5845 Pentridge Street.
Okay, and finally, who's the responsible party?
Undo. Having a little trouble pronouncing.
And I think my
Martha
is
in wine.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. Can you please describe the violations that were cited?
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay,
We can hear you, but while the other person is speaking, please don't speak out because then we can't record you. And I know you were trying to help with your name pronunciation, but it's better for us to come back to you later to correct that, okay?
Martha. Call me Martha.
Martha? Okay, thank you. We'll come back to you, but in order for us to record everyone's voice, we have to be speaking one person at a time, okay?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, Inspector, can you please describe the violations that were issued in connection with the notice of violation you just identified?
Yes, the violations that were issued were vacant structure and land, exterior sanitation, which is trash, exterior weeds, exterior structure, stairs, decks, porches, specifically the roof drainage and the cornices and capping along the porch roof line. Windows and doors violations, stating to remove plywood and install operable windows, exterior protective treatment, chip paint, that type of thing, or just maintenance items on the property, handrails and guardrails on the first and second staircases. Also another vacant properties violations PMC code, which spells out maintenance of the vacant properties must be maintained at all times as if they are occupied. And then finally, the vacant structure license.
Okay, when was the most recent reinspection you performed at this property?
August 11th, 2023.
Okay, so that's last week. What was the status of the violations during that inspection?
Apart from the windows and door violations being complied, all the other violations, I should have complied. I think the roof drainage at least in part, but it's not possible. So it still failed. The violations remained.
Okay. Inspector, can you still see my share screen? Is there a photograph on the screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, can you describe the photograph? What are we looking at?
We're looking at 5845 Pentridge Street in the current condition that it was found last week. You can't see from that photograph what was, well, you can see that there's no handrails on the stairs on either landing. But what you can't see is trash and debris on the lawn and overgrowth. You can see the improvements. The plywood has been removed. The basement windows have been installed. Looks like glass block. And the downspouts have been connected to the porch roof.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the next photograph. What does this photograph show?
Okay, this is the front lawn. This is the from the front steps facing the street.
Okay, and you can see here, there's a date stamp that says August 10th, 2022. Is this what the property looked like at your inspection last week?
It's 2022. It's an old photograph, but that's pretty much what it looked like. Wish I could pull up a. Yes, that's what it looked like.
What are we looking at in this photograph?
We're looking at the stairs that don't have, the absence of handrails.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going down. Here we have another set of photographs. These are dated. You can see the timestamp over here. It looks like April 13th, 2023. Did you perform an inspection on or around that date?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what's this photograph showing us?
The front facade of 5845 Pentridge Street.
And what changes have been made to the property since the photographs you took in August 2022?
Looks at the porch roof has been adjusted, repaired in the former photos.
Okay, are you aware of any permits issued to this property for work?
No, none at all.
Okay, I'm gonna keep scrolling down. What's this photograph show?
Okay, this is the front walkway. Looks like some repairs have been made there.
Okay, I'm gonna keep scrolling. This photograph also dated April 13th, 2023. Maybe a better way of doing this is you can just tell me, does this photograph show anything new or different that should be brought to the board's attention compared to the last few photographs you've seen?
No, this appears to be an older photograph because the downspouts are not there. The roof drainage, it doesn't appear in this picture.
Yeah, well, I can zoom in a little bit so you can see. This is April 13th, 2023. And I'll scroll up just to maybe bring a little bit of clarity. These photographs where the house is white, these are all date stamped August 10th, 2022.
Okay. So yes, it's been painted. Yeah, the house is now blue. Yes, okay.
Okay.
And that's maybe the problem is the resolution is not as great with the blue as it is with the white.
Yeah. Okay, well, Inspector, I have a document up on my screen right now. Can you read what the title of this document is? Let me know if you need me to zoom in.
Okay, this is a notice, a stop work notice.
Okay.
A stop work order.
What property was it issued to?
5845 Pentridge Street.
Okay, and do you know when does the apartment issue stop work orders? What conditions result in the stop work order?
When you are conducting construction activity without permits.
Okay. I'm gonna keep scrolling down. Okay, these photographs that I'm about to show you, just to zoom in a little bit, the date stamp reads, zoom in too much, resolution got busted, August 9th, 2023. Is that about when you performed your inspection last week?
I was in right behind this. This appears to be another inspection by another inspector, probably a building inspector.
Okay, this does have your name. It says Herbert M1. Are you confident you didn't take this?
That's August 9th.
August 9th last week, yes.
August 9th last. Yeah, it would be me if it's my name on it, yes, but I don't have any, let's look at the processes. Yes, it was me. I sent the final NOV on the 9th.
Okay. I'm glad you were able to clarify that. All right, what violations, you testified about violations earlier. What violations are visible in this photograph?
Visible is the overgrowth, the trash and debris. And of course you can't see it, but there is a no vacant license.
Okay. And then down here, does this shed any light? If not, you can just say no, and I can just continue moving. I just want to make sure that I don't miss any photos that shed light on violations that either you haven't testified about yet, or that maybe the photo I'm showing portrays it in a better way.
All right, there's still no handrails.
Okay, thank you. All right, what does this photograph show?
This is what it looked like on the 9th. That's the overgrowth.
Okay, scrolling
That's
down.
the front yard.
Okay, more overgrowth, is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Can you identify this document?
Okay.
Can you see what this is?
So see,
Here, maybe I'll do this. I can ask the
Wow.
the appellant.
okay, so it looks like it's Sheriff.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
This
you
is
know
known
what,
to all
Inspector, if
men,
you could just read this.
these present. Okay, that Jewel Williams, Sheriff of Philadelphia, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and in consideration of the sum of $43,000 to me in hand paid, do hereby grant and convey to Miss Martha this property.
Okay, after reading this document, Inspector, do you know that the appellant, Miss Udo Inyang, owns the property by herself?
Yes.
Okay, and do you know that she purchased it at sheriff's sale?
Yes, I do at this point. Mhm.
And if I go up to the top and highlight this, do you understand from that it was purchased or recorded on January 11th, 2019, the deed?
Yes.
Okay, just see if we've got anything else. Okay, I have no further questions for Inspector Herbert. Thank you, Inspector.
Thank you.
Ms. Martha, do you have any cross-examination questions for the Inspector Herbert?
I wasn't able to see all the pictures that they were showing. I did see the beginning picture, and now I'm seeing the blue pictures. Sounds about what he's saying concerning the drainage. I do have question on that.
Oh, okay. Ask him your question.
Okay, the drainage that you see at the front, if you look at other properties, most of them don't have drainage at the front, except the ones that were installed later. I did not understand, and we didn't, because when I got the proper, I don't know if I should say my point right now.
No, you shouldn't. I just need you to ask him any questions you have based on his testimony. You can make your points in a few moments.
Okay, I'll make my point. I don't have questions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fernandez, do you have any further witnesses?
No further witnesses. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
All right, Ms. Martha, then why don't you tell us what you understand about this property?
Okay, I bought the property, I think they said January 11, 2011. From sheriff's cell, I'm a single mother just looking for the way to survive or do something. Sheriff cells was one of the way I was told and introduced to. Unfortunately, people, they say drive by the property. I did that. I saw light, I saw people moving around, and I thought it was a livable, at least livable conditions. So I bet on the property. I actually overbet myself. That was
Ms. Martha, we really want you to talk to us about the violations and what, whether the violations were actual and what work are you planning to do to correct it? Are you there?
I think she's gone.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is just on my end, but I couldn't see any video when she was You know what, I'll hold that rather than
Okay.
talk without her in the room.
Okay, Mr. Wade, what can we do about that? Anything?
I can give her a second to reconnect or I'll call her.
Okay. Why don't we give her a call?
Oh, there we go.
Okay, Ms.
She's
Martha.
back.
Yep, yeah, you're muted, Ms. Martha. If you could unmute yourself. Okay, now you got disconnected from us. What I was asking you to do is to tell us whether or not the violations as they were written correctly and what you're planning to do about taking care of them.
In terms of the weed I had gone on there, I removed them by myself. It may not be on the 9, I think on the 11, and yesterday I was there cleaning up everything. In terms of the drainage were put falsely by the roofer trying to deceive me, but the drainage are inside the property. I've never seen that before. The drainage is connected inside the property. The roofer did not even understand that. So
Okay.
they put those ones to deceive me and okay. So those were gone when we figure out how the building were actually done. And I'm doing my best. I just need more time. I didn't know I needed to get permit because nobody lives there. In terms of the railing, I fixed the concrete part of it. There's never been a railing, but that could be the latest requirement, even though you have 2 steps going up. But the step has been fixed with the concrete. I can put the railing in. That's no problem. And it's
Okay,
a very
but-
short step. And it has,
Okay, Ms.
it has
Martha,
concrete.
we were able to see that on the photos, but a couple things. This property is currently vacant, correct? Can
One
you
more
hear me?
time.
Is the property currently vacant?
No, it's still, oh, no,
Is someone living in it now?
no, livable, no,
No, so it's vacant then, correct?
nobody lives there.
Yeah, that means it's a vacant property. Did you understand what I just said? I think we lost it.
I think there's storming going on, Mr. Chairman, because I noticed that it's periodically getting very dark over here. So I think people are being impacted by storms,
Okay,
which might be why folks are losing connectivity in some areas.
okay. Mr. Wade, anything we can do or should do?
I will call her and ask if she could just connect by phone.
Okay, because we're near the end of this, so hate to lose it now.
Mhm.
Ms. Martha's back, Mr. Woodson.
Okay, Ms. Martha? Hello? Ms. Martha, are you able to hear us?
Yes.
Okay, all righty. We're going to continue where we left off. I had a couple questions for you. The property that on Pinterest Street is a vacant property. Do you plan to rent it out at some point?
No, to live there.
You plan to move in yourself?
Yes.
Okay. It's obvious that construction work is taking place from the photographs we saw. Your contractors, did they pull permits for that work? Did you
I
hear me,
will
Ms.
get the permit. Yes, when I'm able to acquire the workers, the contractors, or I can get what do you call it? The one that non-vacant license, something like that.
Okay, you didn't respond to my question. And the question is, the work that you've done thus far, it doesn't appear that you have permits, construction permits. Are you planning to get construction permits for the work that you do?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to share with us?
No, I just need time. Yeah, nothing.
Okay, now how long has that property been under construction?
If I find, whenever I get help, I didn't know, when I bought the property, I didn't know there's not even a water going into the property.
Ms.
So
Martha, you didn't answer my question. I don't know if you heard me. I asked, how long have you been working on the property?
It's been 3-4 years now.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anyone else have any questions?
Yes, I do, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Miss Martha, is your mailing address in East Orange, New Jersey?
Currently, but I work in Philadelphia. I do everything in Philadelphia. I come back home once in a while.
Do you reside in South Amboy, New Jersey?
At this time, 90% I reside in Philadelphia because that's where I do all my stuff.
Okay, that was my primary question. Thank you very much.
Are you living in Pinter Street now?
I stay on Walton Avenue, just behind it, with my
Okay.
sister.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Ms. Martha, before we vote on your case?
Not really. I don't know what to say anymore.
Okay, thank you. Any final argument, Mr. Fernandez?
I would just say the photographs shown to the board clearly back up the violations that were issued by the inspector. To the appellant, I would ask any further construction work at this property, roofing work, anything like that, please make sure that the correct permits are obtained. I know that it's easy to just defer and trust a contractor, but as a property owner, you're also responsible for making sure that permits are obtained when they need to be obtained. Beyond that, no further argument. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Fernandez, before I call the vote, I don't believe the stop work matter is part of today's case, correct?
No, the violations that are at issue today are strictly code enforcement violations.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. If there aren't any additional questions, we will then call the vote. Just one moment, please. This is number 32, HA-2022-003720, 5845 Pinterich Street, Martha Udo Enyang, City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Thank you very much. It's unanimous vote, ma'am, Martha. That is city
Yes.
affirmed, which means you lost your appeal. You may appeal our decision. If you need information about that, please call the office. There's a phone number on that letter that you got from us. They will tell you what you need to do to appeal our decision if you choose to. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Thank you, Mr. Fernandez, for jumping in, and have a good afternoon.
Pleasure.
And your inspector is excused.
Thank you, Inspector Herbert. Thank you, members of the board.
Thank you. Okay, well, Mr. Wade, is that it for us today?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, unless there's a need for a follow-up conversation. If not, everyone have a good evening.
Good evening.
Night,
Take
everybody.
care. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening.
Everyone, take care.
Take care, Ralph.
Give me a call.
I
Night, Ms.
sure
Rowe.
will.
Good night.
Night.
Good
I
night,
guess.
Ms. Rob, Mr. McSherry.
Have a good
Then
evening.
I could
Thank you.
say good night